football playoff implications. Tulane hosting Kansas State, home of the Green Wave, and the Wave certainly a contender in the American Conference. Kansas State very much a contender in the Big 12 race this season as well. As we welcome you here to the home of the Green Wave, Bob Wischusen alongside Louis Riddick. Chris Button is with us here as well. Thanks so much for joining us on this College Football Saturday. And look, we've got two quarterbacks today that are 3 combined starts into their college football careers. And yet, you're making NFL comparisons.
Yeah.
You think these guys are both future stars.
Absolutely. Look, we'll just start with Kansas State's Avery Johnson. He's the hometown kid, right? He stayed right in his backyard there from Wichita, Kansas, and went to Kansas State. And I'm just telling you, folks, you're in for a treat today. This is one of the best athletes in all of college football. He can run for days, and he has got home run speed. He is trying to develop himself as a better passer. He's working hard at it. He will put the ball up today. And then there's Darian Mensah, Mr. California Cool, the redshirt freshman who all off season Tulane didn't even know if they had anything in Darian Mensah until he started to show it during preseason camp. Now he's as accurate and as calm, as collected as can be, and he'll need to be that today going up against a Kansas State defense that is very, very well schooled.
And Chris Button, Darian Mensah, he came out of nowhere midway through camp to win the job at Tulane.
Yeah, there's a phrase in football. Sometimes the locker room will let you know who should be the starter. That was the case for Tulane, except it was who used to be in the locker room. When John Summerall got here, he met with outgoing quarterback Michael Pratt. And one of the things Pratt said was, there's something about that Mensah kid. But still at that point, Mensah through spring and summer was still QB3. It wasn't until the first scrimmage where he started to turn heads. And by the second scrimmage of fall, he had earned the starting quarterback job and then proved it last week, not just with the skill set, Bob, but the poise as well.
As you would expect at this time of the year, rain certainly could be in the forecast near the Gulf, and it is humid here in New Orleans. We expected rain based on the forecast all week. Right now it's holding off, but there could be some showers as the temperature at 77 degrees, cloudy skies, and we will see if at some point some more showers flow in. As both teams practiced with wet footballs this week, Louis, getting ready for some wet conditions. Right now, that's not what we have.
Yeah, I expect to see balanced attack out of both of these teams until conditions dictate otherwise. We get to see now the redshirt freshman, Darian Mensah from California, take the field first. And I'm just telling you, folks, this kid is a beautiful passer. You're going to hear me make some comparisons in this game that might shock you a little bit, but you'll see what I mean as soon as he puts it up in the air.
Kansas State won the toss and deferred, so it will be the Green Wave starting with the football. Chris Tennant sends it deep. And it will be returned by Shotty Clayton-Johnson. Short of the 25-yard line, driven out of bounds. So our first opportunity to see, as you said, Mr. California Cool at quarterback, and that is Darian Mensah. And they tested him early last week. His first collegiate throw impressed you on tape.
It sure did. It was a 3rd and 8 on first and second down. They had some assignment errors and just weren't being efficient. And then on 3rd down, they called a big-time pass, which is about an 18-yard in-cut. He layered it over the second level of the defenders and had the coaching staff sitting there going, okay, we might have something here. Let's see what we got here today.
They'll certainly be helped out with Mekhi Hughes in the backfield. #1 in the American in rushing last season. And he gets Tulane off to a good start with a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Austin Moore, the machine, who is the leading returning tackler in the linebacking core for Kansas State. He's there to make the stop. Right back to the line of scrimmage. Hughes the lone setback. Alex Bauman, the tight end, in motion. Back-to-back carries for Hughes. Submarines for 3. It'll be 3rd down and 2 now for Tulane.
You'll see right away, Tulane trying to come out and establish the run a little bit, trying to make sure that this offensive line settles in and these fleet of backs get some touches early and get into a 3rd and manageable situation. Much different than last week when it was 3rd and 8. Now you got 3rd and 2. Now the playbook is a little bit more friendly to you.
State shows blitz off the edge. Mensa with a sidearm outlet, and he's got Hughes. First down and more. There's the California cool showing early. A gain of 10. A flag down as well.
There you get example right away of the poise of just being able to fade in the pocket a little bit and still deliver a strike out here.
Personal foul. Face mask, number 6, defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Jordan Riley, a little grab of the face mask on the tackle as well.
13-44 in the game clock.
Yeah, there you just see Mensa just kind of fading a little bit as Desmond Purnell's getting pressure on him and still able to get the ball out cleanly to Mekhi Hughes. And you see the face mask penalty there tacked on at the end, but that's the kind of cool they're talking about here. Head coach John Summerall said he has it, man. This kid has it. Nothing phases him.
Swing pass. It's been all Hughes on this opening drive. But the decision-making of Mensa and the way that he has those intangibles, and that was something that John Summerall mentioned to us as well, right? He's the straw that stirs the drink. These guys want to fight for him. They rally around him. And it was something that, as Chris Button said, the locker room basically told him that he should be the starter. And a change of the play here for the redshirt freshman. Hughes walloped at the line of scrimmage. So now a third down in plus territory for Tulane and a chance for Kansas State to get a stop. Brandon Mott made that stop.
That's a good job of the Kansas State defense. Again, playing with good eyes, good hands, good vision on the runner, good gap control. Brendan Mott is someone you'll hear his name called often today. Very good against the run, long, lanky, lots of leverage he plays with. Now a third and medium, a third and manageable though. We'll see how the youngster can deal.
Clayton Johnson, his first carry, and now a decision to make for Tulane on 4th down and 1. Inside the 35-yard line. This will be a long field goal attempt, probably outside the range of Jacob Barnes. It looks like the Green Wave are going to go for it. So a big early play on the opening drive of the game for Tulane. A chance for K-State to get a stop.
This is an attitude play. This is a tone setter. This offensive line that's very good at coming off the ball. Do they run behind left guard Shadre Hurst, who's one of the best run blockers on this football team?
Straight ahead, right at the line of scrimmage, getting shut down was Clayton Johnson. Brendan Mott, another stop, and the sideline for the Wildcats explodes.
56. Damian Iolia. No gain on the play. Turnover on downs.
A 4th down stop for Kansas State. And they will take over at their own 34-yard line. VJ Payne was there as well.
Yep, you're going to see Brendan Mott right here, and you're going to see VJ Payne just shoot the gap immediately. And just watch, you got to attack this downhill. There is just no indecisiveness in either one of those players, whether it be VJ Payne or Brendan Mott. That's how you shut it down. That's how you get the ball to your offense.
That might be a backwards pass. Is that ball live? Have they blown it dead?
Yes, 2nd down.
That was close. Avery Johnson with a nervous moment as he swung one to DJ Giddens. And the crowd certainly reacted like that may have been a live ball. As we'll take another look.
Very close.
Wow, I don't
Ruling
know.
an incomplete forward pass is under further review.
That's right on the line.
And if that's a live ball, replay's going to take a look. That's clear recovery. Tyler Grubb scooped it up.
So he throws that ball. Lets it go from the 29.
I think that's a backwards pass.
Yeah. Ever so slightly, but it is. It sure does look that way. There he is. He's about the 29.5.
And he's at the forward part of the 29-yard line, and that ball looked like it was on the rear side of the 29-yard line.
There was no foul for an illegal kick by the defense because the ruling was an incomplete forward pass.
So now a big early decision for replay. And we will step aside and get the decision when we come back. Tulane, Kansas State, off to an interesting start. We return. Another look at the review that was just done, and it certainly looks like Kansas State may have dodged a big one here, as they said the ruling on the field of a forward incomplete pass stands. So Kansas State maintains possession of the football. DJ Gibbons weaves his way for 5 yards on second down, sets up third down and 5. And boy, that is a break, Lewis. It certainly seemed for Kansas State.
Absolutely. You were about to give the ball up deep in your own territory, something that I'm sure Coach John Sumrall of Tulane would have liked for his young quarterback. But now here, Avery Johnson is set up here in the third down situation here on the road, where he gets to put his passing skills on display. He's got a fleet of wide receivers he can go to, and don't ever forget about his legs, because he is electric.
Third down and a long 4, close to 5. Only a 3-man rush. Swing passes behind Giddens. So it will be a 3 and out for Kansas State.
You see Tulane really just rushing 3 and dropping 8, just playing the zone coverage and keeping their eyes on the quarterback, making sure that they have eyes on Avery Johnson at all times. And running back DJ Giddens clearly not ready for that halfback wide route that they call it, just trying to dump it down to him. Now they're about to punt it away.
So Simon McLennan will kick it deep to Dante Fleming for Tulane. Fair catch is signaled and made at about the 18-yard line, as we take a look at today's road test, brought to you by Goodyear and Louis Riddick, your keys to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Here for Kansas State, it's going to be about passing efficiency versus zone coverage. And you just saw an example of it, of Tulane dropping back 8 deep as far as playing zone coverage and making sure that they keep eyes on the quarterback, and then defensively play effective man coverage and win in the deep part of the field when Darian Mensah decides to air it out. For Tulane, it's about making Kansas State pay when they blitz. They're going to try and get after the young quarterback, see if he has answers for pressure, and I expect to see it here on this drive. And then defensively, they need to hold Kansas State to under 120 yards rushing, because if they get going that way and the quarterback has anything to do with it, it could be a long afternoon.
First blitz Mensah saw on that opening possession, he coolly handled it with a swing pass to Mensah on a third down conversion. And they'll start, or rather, to Hughes, and Mensah starts this drive with a handoff to Hughes. Austin Moore brings him down after a gain of a couple.
The thing you will see about the Kansas State defense all afternoon long, Bob, is just how fundamentally sound and disciplined they are, and they play with great eyes. In particular on the second level between Austin Moore, Austin Romaine, Desmond Purnell. You've seen these guys already show up making plays. You won't fool these guys very often. They may not be the top-level 5-star athletes, but they give you 5-star production because they play so football smart.
Busts into the secondary. There he goes. Dragged down from behind by Jordan Riley. 39 yards, though, for Mekhi Hughes. Keep it on the grounds. This time turned back immediately by Austin Moore. So from a 39-yard gain to a 1-yard loss, but back to the game.
Yeah, here, just going to take a look at the left guard. Watch him on the combination block be able to seal the linebacker. He's going to seal Austin Romaine right there, and that opens up the hole. That is great teamwork on the part of the Tulane offensive line. Shadre Hurst, one of the best offensive linemen that they have. You will see him just make those kind of blocks all afternoon. And if you give Mekhi Hughes any kind of room at all, he's going to rip off plus 20-yard runs all afternoon.
Play fake to him. Mensa looking downfield. He's going to take a shot, tries to drop it into the seam, and that is incomplete, intended for Alex Bauman. A super touch throw from Mensa, that close to another chunk gain.
Yeah,
Instead it's 3rd and long.
It's just called wide deep over. You're going to see the tight end, number 87, Alex Bauman. You see him just climbing above the second-level linebacker. He puts it right where you need to put it. That's a beautiful throw. It's a difficult catch, but you got to come down with that one. Bauman is more than capable of making that catch, and that's the kind of throw you're going to see all afternoon from Darian Mensa. He just has that in him, that innate touch to layer the football where he needs it.
Timeout called from the Tulane bench.
Timeout. Tulane, their first of the half.
Again, it might be 4-down territory depending on what happens on this play for the Green Wave as well. And that might have been going through John Summerall's mind before 3rd down, so he calls a timeout from the sideline. Welcome back to New Orleans, and welcome back to the American Conference on ESPN. Bob Wischusen and Louis Riddick and Chris Button. A game that at the end of the season could be a big resume builder in a 12-team playoff era for Tulane and or Kansas State. Scoreless early on, big 3rd down coming here in what might be 4-down territory. And Louis, chess match between John Summerall and Chris Kleiman, 2 terrific tacticians. What are you trying to draw up here on 3rd down if you're Tulane? Are you thinking 4th and manageable with this 3rd down call?
I think if you get into 4th and manageable, you know that you can run the football with effectiveness, but they have so many playmakers on the outside here. They're more than capable of picking this up, as long as the quarterback continues to make good decisions, which he has done.
Kansas State brings a blitz. Eyes downfield for Mensa. A wobbly throw as he was hit as he released it. Intended for Hughes. Austin Moore was around the ankles of Darian Mensa, and now they will have to punt.
Yeah, they came with the 0 blitz and went maxed out, manned up across the board in the back end, and you see the Tulane offensive line. You're going to see them. They do a nice job of picking it up. They have a little bit of leakage off the left over Shadre Hurst, but you just see Mensa just being able to work up in the pocket, try to keep his eyes down the field and get it out there late to Mekhi Hughes. Nice call by Kansas State in terms of heating the youngster up and making him force the error throw.
Johnson with a fair catch at the 11-yard line. Time now for our weekend lineup, brought to you by Wendy's Saucy Nugs. And a terrific lineup it is this afternoon, 3:30 Eastern, South Carolina, Kentucky. Our SEC Saturday afternoon game on ABC. USF will take on Alabama tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN. And the ACC matchup on ESPN2, UVA will take on Wake. Clemson over on the ACC network, hosting App State. And that Tennessee-NC State game tonight on ABC, an interesting one as well. DJ Giddens breaking tackles, gets this drive off to a good start, out to the 19-yard line for Kansas State, a gain of 7 on first down. So what does it mean for a program like Kansas State when you get arguably the best player in the state to stay home, and they did that with Avery Johnson?
Yeah, that's exactly what every program wants now. If you have a hometown quarterback who comes with the resume that Avery Johnson compiled when he was in high school, if you can get him in your program, it's just going to have a trickle-down effect on your entire recruiting operation.
Helps when you've got DJ Giddens as well, back-to-back carries for a first down.
Look, Avery Johnson is one of those guys who's dynamic, and every head coach will tell you that if you have a big-time quarterback right now and you play an exciting brand of offense, that's what kids are looking for. That's what they want to go to.
He hooks up with Keegan Johnson. 9 more yards on first down. What do you think the ceiling is for an Avery Johnson?
Well, I think the ceiling is super. I think the ceiling is to be considered one of the very best players in the entire country. Look, head coach Chris Kleiman brought in Matt Wells to tutor him as his quarterback coach this year and work together with offensive coordinator Connor Riley and just work on his mechanics of throwing the football, because they know he can run it. If he can master some of those and get more consistent, Bob, this kid is electric, man. He really is.
That's Micah Robinson, starting corner, down for Tulane, so we'll step aside. When Avery Johnson ran for 5 touchdowns last year against Texas Tech, Chris Kleiman told us that we knew, and he even thought that Will Howard, who is now at Ohio State, kind of saw the writing on the wall, that he was the future at quarterback as DJ Giddens turns the corner and picks up another Kansas State first down. And what does it say, Lewis, that you have now chosen a quarterback that supplants a guy that can go into the transfer portal and ends up at Ohio State for a national championship contender?
I think what it shows you is similar to what Coach John Summerall told us, you know, about about his quarterback, which was the fact that, look, the players knew. The players knew once this kid got on the field that he was the future. You lose credibility if you don't go ahead and put all your eggs in that basket.
Little hitch out to the edge. And Trey Spivey picks up a couple.
And I know right now they're kind of like taking it in steps as far as the passing game is concerned. But we saw last week he can put it out there and he can put it deep down the field with the accuracy, as he showed last week on the big bomb on the post route to Jace Brown in their home opener. So they will unleash him here eventually. But this is a very good Tulane defense that he's going against that has a lot of team speed. Is going to present problems for a lot of quarterbacks this year.
Johnson out of the pocket, throws across his body, on target to Garrett Oakley. First down. That's the kind of special play that this kid is capable of. Sam Howard made the stop, but a first down to midfield.
You're going to see him he wants to go ahead and hit Dylan Edwards out in the flat. He pulls it down, and then you just see the tight end, Garrett Oakley, who was really running a crossing route. He just stopped and pivoted back outside, and Avery Johnson's able to find it.
Childhood friends, the transfer from Colorado who came back home to rejoin Avery Johnson as football compadres with the carry for 4.
You know, this young offensive line, they lost 4 starters on the offensive line for Kansas State from a year ago, trying to establish himself and establish this run game.
There goes Johnson, weaving his way inside the 30-yard line with a spin move. Avery Johnson showing all the tools on this drive. He's got 18.
This is what we're talking about. You can see, look, if it is not there, you see him, he gets to 2 on his progression, he's going to pull it down. Makes Tyler Grubbs, the linebacker, miss. Almost makes Micah Robinson miss, and then he's off to the races. Just so dangerous with his legs. Well, not Micah Robinson, that was Rayshawn Pleasant that missed the tackle out there on the perimeter. Got to keep your eyes on him, have to have good tackling fundamentals, or it'll make you look silly.
Ball start. A little bit of movement on the offensive line, although Kansas State is pointing at the Tulane defense.
Ball start. Number 69, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Taylor Portier, I think, was trying to claim there was some simulation, maybe of a snap count or something, from the defense of Tulane. Didn't get the call, so now it's 1st and 15.
You just see him with the slight hitch. May have saw something flash across his eyes, thought somebody was trying to get off the ball for Tulane's defensive line. He's got to try and sit in there, although there's been an emphasis made on defenses not trying to simulate the snap and get offensive linemen to jump off sides.
Play action, one-on-one down the edge. One-handed catch made it out of bounds. Dante Cephas was the intended receiver. And Rayshawn Pleasant had a 100-yard pick-6 last week. He gets the start this week as a result. He was there in coverage.
And you see Rayshawn Pleasant just trying to play the eyes in the hands, to squeeze him to the boundary, use the boundary as the next defender for you, as the 12th man, so to speak. When you're on that outside lane, Dante Cephas can fly, and so can Rayshawn Pleasant, who earned a starting job this week with the performance he's been putting on all offseason, capped by that 100-yard plus pick-6 that he had last week.
Giddens breaks a tackle. Nice hit, though, right at about the 32-yard line. Bailey Despaney with a one-on-one tackle and a tough guy to bring down one-on-one and Giddens to make it 3rd down and long. Gain of only a couple, so it's 3rd and 13.
Let's watch the safety here, Despaney. Watch the distance he comes from and the ground he covers. This is a difficult play. It's difficult to make those tackles running full speed against a back the quality of DJ Giddens, but you will see this from the Tulane defense all afternoon. Flying to the football, 11 hats to the ball at all times.
Louis Riddick-esque, one might say. Avery Johnson, nowhere to go. Wrapped up and thrown down. They were hoping for a face mask call. On the Kansas State sideline, Dixon Agu made the tackle. So this is going to be a long field goal attempt for Chris Tennant.
Another one of those linebackers and one of those fast-flowing defenders that they have. Dixon Agu goes about 6'2", 222 pounds. And you just see they just bring them out there like in waves. Sam Howard, Dixon Agu, Chris Rogers, Matthew Fobbs-White. They've got so many guys with that kind of body type who can just make play after play.
48 yards away is good for Tennant. So a 3-0 lead for Kansas State. Our first chance today to check in with Matt Barrett.
Big game, Bob. Good afternoon. Happy College Football Saturday. Couple of updates for you. Georgia Tech, Syracuse. Watch this run by Haynes King. Ramblin' Wreck 2-0 on the season. Kept the knee up. We are now tied 7 apiece. Syracuse just missed a field goal. Also, entertaining game between Oklahoma State and Arkansas. Jaquindon Jackson gives Wu Pig an early lead, 7-0 in Stillwater.
Team for Kansas State is now wearing 85. Number 17 is wearing 85.
3-0 here. Kansas State by a field goal. So both teams have given ground, Lewis, but both defenses have gotten stops. And Tulane was able to turn back Kansas State with the help of a penalty. A couple of good tackles near the line of scrimmage.
Look, these teams are too good that you're not just going to shut them down. And they're going to move the football, but once they get in the plus territory in that high red zone in between the 20 and the 30, and then they get in the red zone, these teams will absolutely firm up and play solid defense and make it tough on your quarterback to make good decisions and be able to get the ball in the end zone.
Kansas State's defense, since converting to that 3-3-5 look, they haven't allowed more than 22 points a game the last 3 years. Johnson dragging a tackler across the 25-yard line. Well, the U.S. Women's Open Championship match today at 4 Eastern on ESPN. American Jess Pegula in her first Grand Slam final takes on Arena Sabalenka. And what a lineup we have for you this weekend and Monday as well. Our ABC Saturday college football triple header, capped off by Tennessee, NC State. The U.S. Open men's final is Sunday afternoon. And Monday Night Football, the Week 1 matchup back, the Jets and the 49ers. So wall-to-wall, big-time sporting events at the U.S. Open. College football all day today, tonight as well. And then Monday Night Football, first matchup of the year, Jets-Niners. Coming up a couple of nights from now as Mekhi Hughes starts this drive for the Green Wave, a gain of 3. Austin Rome is there to bring him down.
He's trying to run that wide zone, as they call it, get everyone flowing laterally, pitch the ball to Mekhi Hughes and make that one cut and get the ball north and south. That's what Mekhi is best at. Identify the crease and get that 210-pound body going north and south, because he is a load to bring down.
He was the Rookie of the Year in the American last year. Mensa on a rollout, long throw, dive and catch made. It's a first down if it stands. Dante Fleming got a foot down. Terrific timing, Mensa to Fleming. And the Green Wave want to hurry up.
It's just as smooth as can be. You see him dragging that left foot. It's on the ground, secures the catch, no bobble of the ball going out of bounds.
The previous play is under further review.
Replay is going to slow it down as they want to make sure that the catch was good. Certainly by our look, it looked like Fleming got a foot down and made it clean, but the replay booth stops it to confirm.
You're going to see Dante Fleming right here trying to drag that foot on the sideline. It looked like the tip of his left foot was on the ground and he was dragging it. I don't think the shin was down. I don't think the shin was out of bounds. Hard to tell from that angle. Get a better look at it here. Catch.
After further review, the ruling of a catch is confirmed.
Yeah.
First down.
So it is a Tulane first down.
And that's nice for Dante Fleming, who dropped a touchdown last week on a big post route that Darian Mensah put on him perfectly. Had a strong practice when we were here just the other day watching him yesterday. Fantastic looking athlete, 6'2", about 170 pounds, and could just absolutely fly.
Hughes gets stood up after a gain of a couple. Now, this is one of those games that I think, Lewis, in the era of the 12-team playoff, you need to understand the wide-ranging ramifications.
Came off. Must leave the game for one play. Please reset the play clock to 40 seconds.
Both of these teams are very much contenders for their respective conference championships, right? And if you are a highly ranked conference champion, you are automatically in
That's right.
the 12-team playoff. So that could take care of itself. But say you're Kansas State and you don't win the Big 12 championship, as Mensah goes play action. He's going to take a shot downfield for Fleming. He's got it in stride inside the 5-yard line down to the 3. First and goal, Green Wave. He beat Marquise Siegel, who saved the touchdown.
You're going to see Fleming. He's in the slot, and he's already got leverage on the safety, Marquise Siegel. They vacate the middle of the field. Big time throw, big time catch. Darian Mensah to Dante Fleming.
Hughes bulldozes his way into the end zone for the Green Wave touchdown.
You have a strong running game, and you just start pounding on a defensive front, and the secondary starts creeping towards the line of scrimmage. That's when you go back up over the top, and if your safeties don't play with good eyes, that's how you give up explosive plays.
Yeah, that's the kind of mistake a Louis Riddick never made.
Oh, I've made it.
No,
oh, I've
no
made
chance.
that mistake.
I don't believe it.
I could tell you some stories.
I'm not believing you were ever that nosy safety where the ball went over your head, but might have happened here.
I mean, just look at where the secondary is sitting right here at about 10 yards, a little less than that. And just watch how Fleming here just takes off down the middle of the field. You see how wide the safety is, Marquise Siegel? He has no shot. You can't vacate the middle of the field.
Number 85 for Kansas State is now
against a guy
wearing
with that
number
kind of
27.
speed. And then here you get the combination block.
Kansas State, 85 is now wearing 27.
On the inside zone.
Correction, now wearing 47, number 47.
And then you see Mekhi Hughes. He just has to beat Siegel one-on-one right at the line of script, right at the goal line. And Mekhi Hughes isn't going to lose too many of those. And you see Darian Mensah. He's saying, yeah, look, this may be my second career start ever. I've got what it takes. I'm of the right stuff. As Michael Pratt told this coaching staff on his way out, this Mensah kid's got something.
Couple of touchdown passes last week in the blowout win over Southeastern Louisiana to get things started for Mensah. Chase Brown. Flag down. And he is down. Buried at about the 13-yard line.
During the return, holding number 26 on the return team. At the distance to the goal line, first down.
So after the Tulane touchdown gives them the 7-3 lead, this is going to back Avery Johnson and Kansas State up inside their own 10-yard line to begin this drive as they go half the distance to the 7.
Look, there's a lot of ball game left here, so by no means, obviously, does Kansas State need to panic, but you're going to find out a little something here from Avery Johnson on the road against a defense that has really been rebuilt in the image of John Sumrall. Fast, aggressive. What do you got? What kind of answers do you have for this defense?
Start with Gibbs. He doesn't get much, if anything. Cameron Hamilton wraps him up at the line of scrimmage.
Cameron Hamilton, who makes that play after defeating the combination block, is one of those guys who just continues to flash for this Tulane defense that rolls upwards of 20, 22 guys during the course of a game. They're very deep at all 3 levels. Their defensive line plays as hard as any in the country.
Johnson, low throw, scooped up. And they will credit Garrett Oakley with a catch. Tulane disagrees. Very close to a first down. If it stands, that takes us to the end of the first quarter.
That is the end of the first quarter.
The Tulane sideline screaming that they think this was an incompletion, and maybe replay will take a look while we are away. But it was Darian Mensah who went deep down to the goal line to Dante Fleming, capped by the run for Mekhi Hughes.
What do you need out of your offense on this drive to be able to answer back?
Well, we'll see if that one gets overturned. It probably will, so we have a 3rd and long. We can't give up the explosive play. We knew it was coming on the sideline, but that doesn't help us. So the first half's kind of gone like I thought. We had a nice drive, need to get a touchdown out of that, but we can't give up the explosive play.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
Start of the second quarter, Chris Kleiman knew what was coming. There goes Avery Johnson on what turns out to be 3rd and long. And he gets bottled up while we were away. They went to the replay booth, and yes, indeed, they did take away the catch from Garrett Oakley. As Lewis, the Tulane sideline was right. Chris Kleiman saw it as well from his sideline. It became 3rd down and long, and now deep in their own end, Kansas State's going to start off the second quarter with a punt.
Yeah, you saw on the incompletion, you saw Matthew Fobbs-White, the defensive end, getting pressure on Avery Johnson, maybe contributed to that errant throw. But now they're going to get the football back. Tulane in very good field position.
That's not a great punt at all from McClellan. That takes a sideways hop out of bounds at the Kansas State 38-yard line. Only a 26-yard punt. Back to Matt.
All right, Bob, time now for your Fairfield by Marriott studio update. The big one in the big house in Texas strikes first. Quinn Ewers to the best name of the day. Gunnar Helm, touchdown Longhorns. That punt looked like a Joey Galloway shank on a par 3.
Beautiful. You know what you like? You like when Matt Barry on his studio updates takes shots at
Just
guys.
ripping his guys,
and
yeah.
They have no chance to respond.
That's what Matt does.
That's
in and out,
beautiful.
in and out.
In and out,
It's
right.
like hit and run. It's like Sugar Ray Leonard
That's exactly right.
to Marvin Hagler, all the way to a win.
And Joey's just sitting there helpless, right? Hearing his golf game getting crushed. He can't do anything about it. And they're having a hard time doing anything with Darian Mensah as he scrambles the little fake pitch out. Boot for 7 as he runs down to the 31-yard line of Kansas State.
As you see, Darian Mensah just continue to move this football team efficiently. This is what caught the attention of the coaching staff this offseason when he wasn't getting reps with the ones, and they had him in there against the 2s and 3s, and he's moving the second and third team offense up and down the line, up and down the field.
Well, they're going to give back 5 of the 7 that he just picked up.
False start. Everyone but the snapper on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
If you're looking for a Darian Mensah comp, You had a pretty good one.
Sure did. Look, and I know, look, we're wishing Jordan Love all the best as he suffered an injury at the end of that game last night down in Brazil. But when I turn on the tape of Darian Mensah, that number 10 and the fluidity with which he threw the football and the way he was able to layer the football to second and third level and throw the deep ball, it reminds me of Jordan Love. Jordan Love right now, the Packers are betting on the come, betting on the future with the way they paid him, just like Tulane's betting on the future with Darian Mensah.
All-out blitz. Mensah off his back foot. Floats to a wide open Bauman. He beats the blitz for a touchdown.
See, they try to get after the young quarterback once again and go with his zero blitz. The problem is there's a bust in the secondary. Keenan Garber turns loose Alex Bowman, thinking that they're playing zone coverage when they're actually playing zero blitz, and it's manned up across the board. And you just see the poise in the demeanor of Darian Mensah to continue to give ground until he can locate Bowman streaking across the field wide open. This kid's got it, man. He has got it. That Jordan Love comparison, that was right on time. Those are the kind of things you've seen Love do in his young career early on for the Packers. These are the kind of things you're seeing here. And I know it's a big jump. He's only started one game. This is his second game. But the kid's special.
There's no foul for a hands to the face. The point after is good. Timeout.
The word over and over again used for Darian Mensah Lewis, poise. Well, how much more poise can you show than in the face of a zero blitz? You just keep your eyes downfield, throw a touchdown pass.
Exactly. Just drift a little as he feels that pressure coming off of his right side. And now you've got a 14-3 lead, and he's telling everybody, I'm not done yet.
There's Darian Mensah off the touchdown pass midway through training camp. Darian Mensah was running the scout team. It was Kai Horton and Ty Thompson in a two-man race for the starting quarterback spot. He was running the scout team but doing nothing but scoring touchdowns in practice. And John Summerall said, you know what? That scout team looks pretty good. Maybe he should be out there with the ones. He ends up winning the job. Turned out to be a good decision. Here he is throwing a touchdown pass.
Absolutely. Here are the two culprits. When you're in zero blitz, those two responsible for these two. There's no margin for error. You know that it's locked up across the board. You take your eyes off your work, as the corner Keenan Garber does there, and the blitz doesn't get home, you're going to give up 6. And that's exactly what happened. We said early in the game, one of the keys to victory for Tulane was to have answers when Kansas State sent 5 or more. Well, right there, they sent all they could. They sent 7, and we're covering with 4 in the back end. And young Darian Mensah says, I'm going to make you pay. I'm going to make you pay. He's answering every test so far.
Up the middle, Giddens. Into the open field. DJ Giddens with an answer for Kansas State. Wrestled down from behind by Jonathan Edwards. Just what the Cats needed.
How about that? How's that for an answer? How's that? You're going to hit us with a big play? We're going to go to our guy who we call the silent assassin, DJ Giddens. Doesn't say very much, as told by quarterback Avery Johnson, but all he does is work. And you see that, you see the sweet jump cut right there as he avoids the linebacker, Tyler Grubbs. Then he's off to the races. That's how you answer big play for big play.
Avery Johnson floats one to a wide open Joe Jackson. Pylon, touchdown, Kansas State. What a response. There's a flag down on the far side of the field at the line of scrimmage.
The eligible receiver downfield, number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
A killer. Take the touchdown off the board for Kansas State.
The right tackle, Carver Willis, you're going to see him right here. You're going to see he's just got to hold in there longer. But on these kinds of plays where you've obviously got like a run-pass option for the quarterback, Avery Johnson, he's just got to kind of hold in there. and the timing just doesn't match up, and then they not able to capitalize on a big play on the throw to Joe Jackson.
So instead of a touchdown, it's 1st and 15. Giddens caught in the backfield. That'll be 2nd down and 16. Matthew Fobbs White made the stop. Down to Chris.
Maybe it's the early road test. It's the early road test, but they've been very quiet on the sidelines. The Kansas State coaching staff asking its group, I need to see more juice. In order to answer back, though, we got to just do it one play at a time. It almost took only 2 plays to answer back.
Well, there's a lot of football left to be played, and this Kansas State team not only is a good football team, but they are extraordinarily well coached. So you would expect a response. Let's see what Avery Johnson has here. 4-man rush. Steps up in the pocket. Jump pass. Wide open. Chase Brown. Hurls him out. He's walloped. Out of bounds. Inside the 15-yard line, a late flag throw. He jumped over Jack Chenchu, and Tyler Grubbs came over and hit him. Are they going to throw a potential targeting flag here for the head contact?
That was a vicious hit, and you're going to see it when we're able to get another look at it. That's something definitely that's probably going to be reviewed.
Well, he's a runner, so the only targeting foul that you could have here would be crown of the helmet.
Personal foul with targeting with the crown of the helmet. Number 13, defense. The play is under further review.
And that's exactly where they're going with Tyler Grubbs. Did Grubbs lead with the crown of his helmet for this hit?
The foul is personal foul for targeting.
I don't think so.
The crown is defined as that area on the top of the helmet, not the face mask, not the front of the helmet.
Not the crown of the helmet.
Front of the helmet, exactly. And it's a hard hit, but by definition.
Now you can understand why an official from distance would throw the flag to make sure, but you have to think replay is going to keep Tyler Grubbs in the game when we come back. So while we were away, Lewis, the replay booth correctly picks up the targeting foul on Tyler Grubbs, overrules the call on the field, so he stays in the game.
Yeah, you were all over it. Look, it has to be the crown of the helmet, which means that area right at the top of the helmet, in the middle of the head, not your face mask, not where on the old helmets the Rydell used to go across the top of the face mask, but the actual crown of the helmet. That's a hard football play. You jump up in the air, potentially that could happen to you. Look, Tyler Grubbs is as aggressive as they come on this Tulane defense. And Kansas State now has put themselves in a good position to go ahead and respond.
And a timeout called.
Timeout. Tulane. Their second of the half.
So John Sumrall called timeout from the sideline. An important first down, though, for Kansas State. After a penalty takes a touchdown off the board, add in the fact that they had a negative on first down after losing a touchdown. 2nd down and 15, 2nd down and 16. They pick up 17 yards, pick up a first down. There's a ton of football still to be played. We talked about how well coached they are. You would expect a Kansas State response.
No question. Look, Avery Johnson's just too good. I mean, you see the run pass threat that he is. And as he gets more comfortable, if you aren't on top of your assignments, just like what happened, with Kansas State on their defense, they can produce chunk plays in a hurry. Both of these teams have the ability to do that. That's why this game, if it gets a 1-score, 2-score, 3-score game, do not turn the dial, because these teams can go ahead and flip it in a heartbeat. And as you're seeing right now they're down here in the red area where Avery Johnson's legs become even more of a factor. His run ability here is a big-time threat.
Taken down at the 10, falls to about the 9-yard line. For these on cameras, by the way, as the season goes on, I might have to become a vest guy. I think I might have to step it up.
Hey, there's no, Bob, look, go ahead and join the club.
I'm just saying, there's a contrast.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? But
when I'm standing next to you,
you look good regardless.
I'm not as good as you, though.
That's true, but I'm just saying, you will look good in a vest.
Hard to argue.
You would look good in a vest. It's a good look.
Might have to invest. See what I did there?
Absolutely. See, don't do that. But yeah.
Yeah. Second down inside the 10. Keeper for Avery Johnson. A little dead leg. And they didn't fall for the fake. Good job. Jonathan Edwards stayed home and brought Johnson down at the 7-yard line. Big third down coming here.
That's what we're talking about as far as here. He decides to pull it from DJ Giddens. You better be good with your eyes. And Jonathan Edwards, he plays it perfectly. As we had just said coming out of the break, down here in the red area, a running quarterback poses a significant threat to a defense. Every offense would like to run the football in down here because you don't have a whole lot of field to work with. You don't want to throw it because everything happens so fast. There's just not a lot of room to work.
But with Avery is hurt on that play as well, so they're tending to him today. ABC, ESPN Plus, 3:30 Eastern. South Carolina squares off against Kentucky. And then at 7:30, number 14 Tennessee will take on number 24 NC State. Also on ESPN Plus tonight, 9th-ranked Missouri hosts Buffalo. Florida looking to bounce back, hosts Samford. Number 18 LSU hosting Nicholls State. To get ESPN Plus, go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app. Let's take another look at that tackle by Jonathan Edwards. He was slow to get up after bringing down Avery Johnson.
You see all that weight go on that left shoulder.
So a big third down and 5. Last season, Kansas State was the number 2 red zone touchdown percentage offense in the nation. Johnson out of the pocket. Eyes on the end zone. Backing up. Touchdown! Will Swanson, the tight end, settled down in a little soft spot in the zone, and Avery Johnson found him for the score.
Bob, that's a ridiculous throw. A ridiculous throw. The ability to extend the play, get your body situated, and then hit the tight end Will Swanson, who you're going to see here working left to right on your screen. You see him right there. And just reach back across his body and make a difficult catch. But that's the brilliance of Avery Johnson. You saw they tried to run the little zone read. He pulled it, tried to get out on the perimeter. He can't get in. Jonathan Edwards makes a great play. They get him back, drop him back. He buys some time, finds the tight end uncovering. This is shaping up to be a nice game. These offenses are both explosive. They're going to make their adjustments. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, after a touchdown on that drive initially was taken off the board for Kansas State because of a penalty, they stick with it. And Avery Johnson eventually does find his tight end Will Swanson. Second touchdown catch in the career of Will Swanson. Makes it a 4-point game. We are back, and we take a look at today's Player Spotlight, brought to you by Downey Unstoppables. And, well, Lewis, you said it in our open. We have 2 quarterbacks that are barely beginning their collegiate careers, but they both can play.
Yeah, these guys are so green, but they have so much upside. You see the dual threat capability of Avery Johnson in the ways in which Kansas State tries to use him. And then you see just the pure pocket potential of Darian Mensah in his poise. Again, it's a word that we'll use all day. It's a word that the coaching staff uses. His poise. This is his second start. He was a 3-star that had very few offers. They didn't even think that they had a starter all spring and half the summer. He's here now.
Shadi Clayton Johnson to the 21-yard line. So it will be back to Mensah and his opportunity with the football once again. Last time we saw him out there, he's making plays.
He showed this last week against Southeastern Louisiana, his ability to hit the deep ball there. He hits Dante Fleming, who had dropped the deep ball just like that, coming the opposite direction last week. And then just fading back against the zero blitz. They're rushing, they're 7-7, a maximum of 7 after the quarterback, seeing if he has an answer. They turn a guy loose, he finds him, Alex Bowman. That's how you ace the test, folks. Right there.
A new running back in the game for Tulane. Arnold Barnes, the third, lines up behind Mensah. Play action. Mensah, long check down. Mario Williams bumped out after a gain of 7. Marquise Siegel came up to make the tackle. He was up there with Austin Moore last year, tied for first on the team in tackles.
And you can best believe Coach Chris Kleiman got with his secondary and said, hey, look, we need to play everything top down, deep to short. We got to rally on the underneath throws. We cannot get beat on explosives like that. That's something that just drives a coach like Coach Kleiman crazy.
Barnes about a yard shy of a first down. Chidi Obiazor made the tackle to set up 3rd down and 1. And really 3rd down and a solid yard and a half. So a chance for Kansas State to get off the field. Coming off their touchdown. There'll be more momentum swings than we could probably count in this game. These are 2 evenly matched teams.
See a little substitution.
Barnes, Submarines. Depends on the spot. They say without measurement. He's got the first down.
So now here again, you hear it talked about on broadcast all the time. As a defensive player, now you're thinking, all right, who's in the game? What could they possibly be doing? They're hammering us a little bit with the run. Could they be setting us up for a shot play? Who's in the football game? And right now you've got Dante Fleming, number 1. You got Yul Keith Brown, number 5, and you've also got Mario Williams, number 4. A lot of speed. So you got to be good with your eyes in the secondary in case they try and hit you over the top.
Play action. And so looking downfield, he's going to float one to a wide open Mario Williams. Another coverage bust, you have to think. And Williams takes advantage. He may have had his face mask grabbed to the 31-yard line of Kansas State for a gain of 38.
And again, it's just another coverage bust. Corners dropping coverage. One guy thinks you're playing zone. Everyone else is playing man. And you turn guys loose in the deep part of the field. And again, the culprit looked like it was once again Keenan Garber.
False start. Looked like the left tackle, Derek Graham, just barely flinched before the snap.
Number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And you see Mario Williams, you see the corner right there, you see Keenan Garber. He's playing like he's passing that off as if they're passing off the deep downfield crossers in a zone type of scheme. Everyone else is matching up in man, and there's no one to pick him up on the other side of the field. They have got to get that ironed out. Otherwise, you turn guys loose like that against a quarterback who's hot like this, he's going to put up some big-time numbers on your defense like he has already.
Wide receiver screen. Williams gets a block. Finds a crease into the red zone. Another Tulane first down.
You've got to put a vice on the receiver like this on this tunnel screen, which is really just the wide receiver catching it on the outside. You see all those linemen pulling downfield, and he just hits that tunnel and goes down the field.
Play action again. Mensah throws this one away. 8 of 11 for 178 yards and a touchdown now for Darian Mensah. Pretty good numbers for a redshirt freshman in his second career start.
No doubt about it. Look, he's in full control. He knows exactly what he wants to get done. And the thing about it that the coaching staff stressed to us is that all the other guys have maximum confidence in him, and he makes guys play better. This guy's in his second start now. His second start, a 3-star, didn't get a bunch of offers, was 3rd team all off season, making guys better. A good football team.
Inside the 10-yard line, close to another Tulane first down. It is a first down, 1st and goal for the Green Wave.
Just running that inside zone with what they call a sift block, the tight end coming back across the formation. And you see they just get everybody moving one direction. And then the running back, Arnold Barnes, is able to just cut it back, find the seam, get north and south. The things you hear all the time when you're describing zone runs. And they're just gashing them and moving the football at will right now against this Kansas State defense.
Barnes again slips and goes down. So it'll be 2nd down and goal. Well, you mentioned the Mensa offers. What did he tell us? Linwood and Idaho, I think, were the only 2 schools that he mentioned that offered before Tulane came calling. He was an afterthought. Kai Horton and Ty Thompson were in the quarterback battle before Mensa was given a look and won the job. And here is Ty Thompson. He still has a package of plays given to him by the coaching staff, and he's in there in the red zone now. Runs the zone read, and Mekhi Hughes is down to about the 7-yard line, where it will be 3rd down and goal. Let's see if they put Mensa right back in, and they will.
I saw Ty Thompson as you see him jogging off the field, and Mensa coming back in at practice yesterday. He is a load, 6'4", 225 pounds. And he is a truck when he decides to run it on those quarterback runs.
You feel like that's kind of giving away a play for Mensa, just bringing in Thompson for the zone read there?
A little bit. But, you know, he has the option to give it right there. So there's a little bit of optionality with it. But you got to get your passer back on the field here.
3rd and goal. Blitz off the edge. Mensa spins out. Spins again and throws it away. Was he sacked? Flag down on the near side of the field. Damian Ilalio was all over Mensa. I'm not sure he got that pass away before he was brought down. Certainly didn't get the ball back to the line of scrimmage, so it should be intentional grounding, if nothing else. So one way or the other, he was either sacked or he'll be called for grounding. But there's also a flag at the line of scrimmage. So we've got a couple of penalties here to sort out.
There are 2 fouls, both in the offense. Illegal motion, number 2, that penalty is declined. Intentional grounding, number 10. That's a loss of down at the spot of the foul. 4th down.
So this will be a field goal try now for Tulane, as that'll bring the line of scrimmage all the way out to about the 23-yard line. That'll bring Jacob Barnes out to try a medium-range field goal to see if he can make this a 7-point game.
You see Darian just trying to buy some time. Can't get that ball back to the line of scrimmage, rolling to his left.
The play is under further review.
Not sure what they're reviewing here other than the spot of the football to make sure that they've got the line of scrimmage correct for the field goal attempt. If they're off, now they're not off by more than about a yard.
Really?
So after all this shakes out, so they are going to take a look and see if Mensa was sacked before the ball is thrown. In the end, it doesn't matter. If he's sacked or if it's intentional grounding, the ball's going to be spotted at basically the same place. So this is nothing more really than a bookkeeping call, since they already called intentional grounding. So after all is said and done, whether this is a sack or intentional grounding,
yeah,
Tulane is going to be calling a timeout. And his knee was down, it looks
After
like, before the ball was released.
Number 10, the quarterback, was down before he released the ball, so there is no foul for intentional grounding. However, the ball remains at that spot. 4th down.
And as we said, the ball gets spotted at the same spot. It's just now a sack instead of a penalty, and the field goal will be from the same spot for Tulane, and it's going to be Jacob Barnes from about 40 yards to try and give the Green Wave a 7-point lead.
It's funny, as you're going through that, I'm sitting there looking at you, and I'm going, yep, yep. It's good. It really doesn't matter. Nope. It's
Well,
be
I
right
guess
there.
if you're the Kansas State player that's going to get credit for a sack,
Yeah, of course you want
yeah,
that.
you're pretty happy they
Like,
stopped
okay,
it.
I'll take that win.
That's right. So
I'll take that.
Yeah, Damian Ilalio's kind of happy. And that 40-yarder is on the way, right down the middle. So Tulane is back on top by a touchdown with under 5 minutes to go in the first half. We've got today's Aflac trivia question. All right, our first chance this season to see if Louis Riddick is a total cheater. Did he take a look at the question, or is he going to get it? All right, the only 3 FBS players to rush for 5 touchdowns in a game last season. You're going to get one of them.
I would have to cheat because I don't know.
Well, you're going to get one.
Let me see.
Guaranteed. We will answer it after the kickoffs. You've got some time to think.
Is there a camera on me? Let's see if I'm cheating.
Number 17 for Kansas State is now wearing number 85, and number 85 is now wearing 47.
Well, I'll give you at least a hint. There's a reason in this game we're asking that question. Right?
Okay.
There's 3 guys that ran for 5 touchdowns in a game last year. One of them helped facilitate a quarterback change on his roster for this year. That was like the benchmark game.
Let me see.
They mentioned, but there's 2 other guys that you have to think of as well.
Would that have been in a game that is named after some of the food that I love the most in life?
It might have been. And we only gave you a minute or so. We're going to answer the question now because not give you time to cheat.
Yeah.
We're going to answer our Aflac trivia question.
Well, I don't know who the other 2 are.
Well, look on your screen, and we're going to give you at least one.
I got you. But yeah, no, I know. Avery Johnson,
okay,
who's just the dynamo from Wichita. I mean, obviously he's one of them.
If you got the other 2, you were really good.
Yeah, I don't have the other 2. I absolutely don't. Ollie Gordon, I mean, he's fantastic. Kamani Vidal from Troy. Remember doing a lot of work for him. Head coach John Summerall of Tulane, Coach Kamani at Troy.
Spun down is Dylan Edwards, a loss of a couple. Let's check in with Chris.
When Avery Johnson knew that he was going to be the guy this year, he wanted to figure out, how do I build camaraderie as the young guy with my teammates? So he brought his skills guys out to Kansas City. They did some off-the-field events, an escape room. They went to the Royals game. They also did some on-the-field work, trying to build that relationship before camp began.
And he almost threw a tipped ball pick. A chance for Rayshon Pleasant, but he couldn't hold on. That was something that he took from Dylan Gabriel, right? Took a page out of Gabriel's book, and it's certainly been done by other quarterbacks. Not often in college, though. You hear of a college quarterback having kind of a passing camp with his teammates.
Yeah, you can tell he is big on the relationship aspect of the game and of quarterback play in particular, and he knows how important it is for him to connect with these guys on a personal level. The great quarterbacks do that. The greatest one in the NFL right now, Patrick Mahomes, does this on the regular. That's a great guy to pattern your game after and your habits after.
3rd down, out of the pocket. And run out of bounds. Well shy of the first down line to gain. Kevin Adams chased him to the sideline. And with lots of time on the clock before halftime, Tulane gets a stop defensively, and they're going to give it right back to their offense.
This is a big drive here for Kansas State in their defense. They need to go ahead and make sure they shut this down and don't allow Tulane to pad their lead that they have already. The quarterback has been hot. He has made good decisions. They have been able to hit them on big plays down the field.
Dante Fleming. And pretty good field position for Tulane at their own 31-yard line. And we started to talk earlier about how important this game might be in the era of the 12-team playoff in college football. We have to get used to this format. The 5 highest-ranked conference champions automatically in. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions move on. They get those first-round byes. Then you've got your 7 at-large teams that are determined by the committee. And that first weekend, get those home campus games. That's going to be a lot of fun. But start to think about this, say from the standpoint of a Kansas State. If you come back and win this game, and let's say you don't win the Big 12 championship, but you've got a pure road win against a Tulane on your resume, and maybe Tulane goes on and they win their league this year as Mekhi Hughes gets bottled up. This is exactly the kind of game, Lewis, that I think college football fans need to start to look at through the lens of, like we do in college basketball, of building your resume.
Absolutely.
And that committee is going to look at results like today in December when they start to look at who are those deserving at-large teams. Because if you take a look at a Kansas State right now, I mean, where are they ranked?
Yeah,
right. When you're in the 15 to 18 range, you are by definition a bubble team.
They had put an emphasis on that as
Mensa with a terrific pass to Keith Brown.
I mean, he just continues to deal here, and they just have what they call a little bit of a switch release and run the wide receiver right up the seam. You're going to see Keith Brown. He's just going to switch release and then get vertical up the field, and he lays him on him perfectly before the safety, B.J. Payne's able to get over there and make the hit.
Will this be targeting? This might be the replay booth stopping to take a look. I don't think it is.
The previous play is under further review for possible targeting.
That's the replay booth taking a look to see if targeting is warranted on the hit on Keith Brown.
As they take a look at this, you have to give offensive coordinator Joe Craddock a lot of credit for the way he is dialing up these plays and getting Darian Mensa into a rhythm. He has got the Kansas State secondary on their heels. Lots of coverage busts as we take a look at this replay here. I think that's a glancing blow off to the side.
That's again not targeting. So there's no worry for B.J. Payne. He will stay in the game.
He hits him on the side of the shoulder.
And you know, back to the college football playoff thought, even from Tulane's standpoint. If Tulane wins the American Conference, and they have a win on their resume as well over a team like Kansas State, you want to, obviously, be one of the 5 highest-ranked conference champions.
Right.
So your resume as a conference champion, if you win the American, is going to be compared to the resume that's been built by the Mountain West champion, the MAC champion, and so on and so forth.
I think
these are vitally important games for both of these teams at the end of the season to see how these resumes are built. This is one of those games you can look back on.
After further review, there was no foul for targeting on the play. The result of the play is a first down.
And there'll be games all like this throughout the college football landscape as we start to talk about this 12-team playoff taking shape this year.
The quality of your opponents, that's what you're getting at.
No doubt.
Is huge this year. And the committee has made it a point to articulate to us that that is going to play a major role. A major role. What is the quality of your opponent? When did the wins come? Was it on the road? A lot of those things are going to be taken into account this year, not just purely your one-loss record.
And saw play action again. Fires one in. Boy, we wondered when they talked about the difference between Ty Thompson, Kai Horton, and Mensa, and they said, you know, he doesn't really have the arm strength of the other 2 guys. We sure about that?
But just watch the placement of this ball to Dante Fleming. Look where he puts it on the outside shoulder, away from the DB, away from Jacob Parrish. And just watch this route here by Dante Fleming. Put on the brakes, give him a little bit of a push off and just gain a little bit of separation, but it's the location of the throw. That is just beautiful. It doesn't get any better than that.
Before the snap, we reached the 2-minute mark. This is the 2-minute timeout.
So before Tulane can get the snap off, down to the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes to go in the first half here in New Orleans.
I'm Matt Berry. Coming up in the Avocados from Mexico halftime report. Texas right at home in the big house. They just scored again. We'll show you highlights of it. Plus, not so happy Valley from Penn State. A shocker early on. And we'll star watch tonight, Nebraska and Colorado. Dan Mullen, Joey Galloway join me coming up at the half. Guys.
Well, Matty, not so happy here in New Orleans so far for Kansas State. Bob Shoes in here with Lewis Riddick and Chris Budden. As Darian Mensa, already a couple of chunk plays on this drive. 221 yards passing in the first half. Kai Hughes inside the 20-yard line. Colby McAllister made the stop. 7 more yards as we are under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Tulane still with a timeout, managing the clock and wearing it down. Wonder if Kansas State starts to think about using their timeouts to give their offense a chance before halftime as well.
Just see this offensive line starting to really exert its will and its influence over this Kansas State front as the clock continues to tick down, to your point, Bob, about what will be Kansas State's strategy.
Hughes stopped at the 20-yard line, and now they'll call timeout on the Kansas State side with a minute and change to go. Cody Stufflebean made the tackle.
Timeout. Kansas State. Their first of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
That's a loss of one. We wondered if the quarterback duel between these two youngsters would live up to its billing. So far it has. Mensah has been tremendous. And you know what? For Avery Johnson, there is still a ton of game out in front of this Kansas State offense. We know he can bring them back.
Yeah, it's the ability to produce those chunk plays. He can do it with his arm or with his legs. And for Darian Mensah right now, I mean, what more can you say about the young man? 220 yards plus passing in the first half in his second game of his career. The second game of his career. You got to understand where he came from. No offers, barely. Third team reps, barely. But taking the opportunity, I mean, he's a lesson in terms of perseverance and believing in yourself and continuing to work when you don't know when the payoff's going to come. You get thrown in there, you're giving your shot, and now you're throwing for 220 against one of the better defenses in the country.
Third down and 4. The screen to Hughes. Read well. Beautifully done by Kansas State. Jacob Parrish read it first, but that whole defensive line was flowing over towards Mekhi Hughes. So they get the third down stop. They use the timeout.
Kansas State, their second of the half. It will be 30 seconds. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1:06.
So the Wildcats will still have a minute on the clock, and they also have a timeout remaining.
You see, this playing with good eyes. Jacob Parrish, number 10. You can see the pursuit coming inside out. You see Brendan Mott pursuing to the football. BJ Payne coming up from the secondary. That's the kind of defense that Chris Klieman expects from his defense. Smart, disciplined, good eyes, understanding situational football. They'll be tested here in the second half.
Again, Kansas State Tulane with number 17 on the road, a pure road game, taking on Tulane here in New Orleans. Bob Wischusen, Louis Riddick, and Chris Budden. Only the third ever meeting between these two teams. And Tulane has won each of the previous two. 41 yards this time for Jacob Barnes. Made his last from 40 yards out. And this one, just like the last one, right down the middle. So now it's a 10-point lead for the Green Wave with 1:01 on the clock, but still a timeout for Kansas State. So another opportunity for Avery Johnson before halftime. And this season, All-State will celebrate every field goal, an extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you to All-State.
Number 85 for Kansas State. Number 47 for Kansas State is now wearing number 85. Number 47 is now 85.
And remember, in college football, in spite of the fact that we have adopted some NFL-esque rules with the 2-minute timeout, a clock rolling down to the last 2 minutes, even after first downs, inside of the last 2 minutes, the old college football rule still applies. So that can extend this last minute for Kansas State on first downs. When tackled in the field of play, the clock will stop until they set the ball. So that creates an opportunity here for Avery Johnson to score before halftime.
Yeah, this is where you got to be careful, right? I mean, you always understand that coaches are always trying to score points, maximize possessions. You just want to make sure you don't take any unnecessary risk, especially against a Tulane defense that right now has really been playing some good football and a quarterback who was hot. So you just want to make sure you manage this, and at the very least, you do not give them the potential, or rather the opportunity, to extend that lead in any way, shape, or form.
And Kansas State also starts the third quarter with the football.
That's right.
So maybe a chance to string together back-to-back possessions here. Score on back-to-back possessions. That could change the game as well. And with some wind blowing, they have to hold the ball in place. Head sends it deep. It'll be a touchback. Well, we've seen some plays made by both offenses here in the first half, but the star of the show so far has been Darian Mensah.
Yeah, he sure has. Look, he is bursting onto the national scene here today with his poise, his accuracy. He's shown NFL-level throws, an NFL-caliber poise, handling the blitz, which you knew was coming. Max pressure was coming with him, just and being the point guard and getting it to his playmakers. His accuracy down the field, though, and the plus 20-yard throws is what has been just spectacular. They have had a bunch of them all game long. 6 pass plays of at least 15 yards so far today. I mean, that's a game. That's 2 games worth for many quarterbacks. And he's done it in the half.
DJ Giddens picks up 6 on first down, but now they have to move. Johnson out of the pocket. He's got room to roam. And the clock will stop as he takes a pop after getting out across the 45-yard line, but a first down. 14 yards, 36 seconds to go in the half.
Tulane, you don't want to get lax here. You want to make sure.
Seam throw, and not getting his head around was Jace Brown.
That's happened a couple of times to Kansas State's offense as far as Avery Johnson not being on the same page. They've had some people getting open here. They have got dynamic weapons on the perimeter as well.
Chris Tennant has 50-yard field goal range for Kansas State. They have to get him down to inside the 35-yard line. 4-man rush. Stepping up again is Johnson. Coming back to make the catch is Spivey. Right about at the line to gain. They will say without measurement it is a first down. So that stops the clock and preserves the timeout. 20 seconds to go in the half.
See, Bobby pointed that out, the fact that the clock will stop here inside of 2 minutes on first downs, and they're working this perfectly. This is a great job by Avery Johnson of just getting this ball down the field, hopefully getting them into field goal range.
Oh, he had a wide open Sterling Lockett and just overthrew him, and he knows it. A missed chance for Avery Johnson.
Yeah, you're going to see Sterling Lockett. He's just going to run up the seam. The safety gets pulled to the middle of the field by Avery Johnson, looking him off. You can see the safety just vacates the middle of the field. You see him there just outside of your screen. Number 32, Bailey Despaney. Those are the kind of big plays you got to take and you got to be able to hit on and capitalize on. That could have changed the whole tenor of this first half for Kansas State.
Another 4-man rush. Johnson to the sideline. Toe tap for Keegan Johnson. And they will give him the catch. 6 seconds to go in the half. They have their timeout. Do you try the field goal from right here?
That's a sweet throw. Puts it right on him. You just see Keegan Johnson make sure he's aware of where he's at on the sideline. But you're just seeing Avery Johnson. Look, he's missed a few. He's missed a few big play opportunities, but he's just continuing to work his craft as far as being a better, more accurate, more consistent passer.
Kansas State takes its final charge time out of the half. It'll be a full timeout.
So Kansas State will call the timeout rather than running a play with 6 seconds on the clock.
You see him just keeping his eyes down the field, feels the rush, just slide right, and just deliver a laser to Keegan Johnson along the sideline. Had he hit that seam ball to Sterling Lockett, we're having a whole different discussion right now. And it was open. And we talked about in the beginning of this drive, Tulane's secondary cannot afford to get lax and get lazy here and play with bad eyes thinking, hey, we got a 10-point lead. We're rolling. That's when teams like this rip you. They dodged the bullet right there.
Chris Tennant's career long, he's done it a couple of times, is 51 yards. So they call their timeout to bring the field goal unit out. And this will be from 53. So this would be a new career long for Tennant. He's got the leg to reach. To try and make it a touchdown game at halftime. And a timeout will be called by Tulane.
Tulane takes its final charge time out of the half. It'll be a full timeout.
Let the kicker think about it, trying to attempt his career long. The whole icing thing always is fascinating to me. Does it work? Doesn't it work? Does it calm some guys down? Does it make them jittery? I don't think it matters one way or another. Either you're going to make it or you're not.
I also think 2 yards beyond your career long before halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of free and easy with this kick,
sure,
aren't you?
Sure. I mean, it's a bonus here, right? You move the ball down the field. You know you're out your limit. Take a good swing at it. The psychology of the game always fascinating.
Now, if this is a 35-yarder to win the game that everybody's expecting you to make,
then you call it a timeout,
no.
for sure. But you're going to get tight naturally. Whether they call it a timeout or not, Bob, ain't going to matter. You're probably going to be a little tight.
All the timeouts have now been called. So this from 53 for Tennant. Will it reach? It will not. Well short. Didn't hit that one well. And that will take us to the halftime break with Tulane doubling up Kansas State by 10. An impressive first half for the Green Wave. 20-10 is our halftime score here in New Orleans. It is time for the halftime report. Standing by with Joey Galloway and Dan Mullen. Hopefully they'll get their shots in now on Matt Barry. Welcome back to New Orleans and welcome back to the American Conference on ESPN. Just about set for the start of the third quarter here at Tulane, the Green Wave with a 10-point lead over number 17 Kansas State. We mentioned these two young quarterbacks, Avery Johnson, Darian Mensah. Future stars in the making. Well, Mensah's had the better of it so far. Bob Wischusen alongside Lewis Riddick. Chris Budden is with us as well. It will be Avery Johnson to start the third quarter with the football, though. He'll be looking to answer. Well, that was some first half, though, that Darian Mensah played.
It sure was. Look, first of all, you like my jacket? I do have.
Yeah, thanks for joining me in Jacket Land. I appreciate it.
Number two, Darian Mensah is a superstar, folks. He showed that already, and I know people don't like to get ahead of themselves. He's a superstar, and he'll continue to play that way. Don't count out Avery Johnson. This guy is dynamic with his legs and with his arm. He'll get it going here in the second half. They'll utilize both his arms and his legs, and this game will be one that you want to watch right down the wire.
It feels like a big third quarter opening drive for Kansas State, does it not?
Absolutely, absolutely. They need to establish some rhythm. They need to make sure that they're all in sync, and then they start hitting on some of these third downs and continue to move the ball down the field.
Let's see if they generate some field position to begin the third quarter. It'll be Jace Brown letting this one float into the end zone for a touchback. Down to Chris Budden.
Spoke with Chris Kleiman coming out of half. He thought that Avery Johnson has battled really well despite not getting enough protection from his offensive line. Pointed out to that last series before halftime where they had some missed opportunities. Says that's the inexperience of our wideouts. Some of them were lined up in the wrong position. He said defensively, I've never seen our group make more mistakes in zone coverage. He expects them to fix that in the second half. But he says it starts right here. We have to steal momentum on this drive.
Lewis, surprise you that the wide receivers for Kansas State having a tough time getting lined up?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, look, it can happen, especially, if the communication's not clear, if they're not quite sure of some things during the week. I mean, things happen when you get into a game environment, Bob. I mean, things change. Players sometimes, they blank out. They kind of wind up missing routine assignments, and the quarterback's got to get them back on the same page, be a coach on the field. They'll get it ironed out. This game is far from over.
I'll go right down the field here and score a touchdown to start the third quarter, and the momentum will swing right back towards Kansas State. That's the job for Avery Johnson. He starts off the third quarter with a DJ Giddens give for 4. As Giddens over 90 yards rushing now as he's closing in on his 6th consecutive 100-yard game. Another handoff, a broken tackle, but driven back for no gain, met at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be 3rd down and 6. Bailey Despaney, another stop for Tulane.
You see how fast these safeties fill against this running game. They do not want to see DJ Giddens get going. They don't want the quarterback to get going. Now here in the 3rd and 6, you wonder, what is defensive coordinator Greg Gasparotto, what does he dial up here? Does he play some man coverage? Does he play some zone, keep his eyes on this quarterback? Can this wide receiver corps from Kansas State start to make some big plays and get on the same page with their quarterback?
Swing pass, Giddens scoops it up. Breaks a tackle. Nearly lost his footing. Oh, he got pounded. Tyler Grubbs. What a hit on DJ Giddens. And it will be a 3-and-out to start the third quarter for the Wildcats.
Oh my goodness. Just watch number 13, Tyler Grubbs. If this team runs to the ball, man, look at him. Wham. That's what this defense is known for. And that's what Tyler Grubbs is. Just a pure football player. Not the greatest athlete, but a good football player.
Without Jesus Machado, who got hurt during the bowl game last year, he's really kind of the heart and soul of this defense. He's playing like it today. As Fleming with the fair catch. So now, Darian Mensah back to work.
Yeah, you see him here, just navigating the pockets, drifting to his left a bit, hitting Dante Fleming, who he just barely missed on a connection with last week when Fleming had the drop. And then the zero coverage touchdown throw to Alex Bowman. That's next level in terms of recognition, understanding what he needs to do in the pocket to buy some time, and taking advantage of a miscommunication in the secondary.
Darian Mensah, more passing yards than any other Tulane quarterbacks had against a ranked opponent in the last 20 years. And again, this is his second career start. Play action fake here. And this time out of the pocket, throws it away and gets hit by Des Purnell and buried back in the end zone. Immediately, his offensive linemen rally over there to pick him up. He was hoping for a flag.
Yeah, that's an interesting call right there, because look, Desmond Purnell, one of the most aggressive pass rushers on the Kansas State defense. As I'm sitting here watching it, I'm sitting there thinking, you're going to let up on him, right? You're not going to take him to the ground. And he took him to the ground right in front of the referee. And then fell on top of him. I mean, that's an interesting no call.
Kai Hughes. Hard hit initially from Jordan Riley. And then his teammates rally. Limit Hughes to a gain of 3. So now Kansas State is forced third down at 7.
Absolutely. Like you see right now, you see what they're coming out, what that kind of attitude they're coming out with on defense. You see how Desmond Purnell's running to the football. Jordan Riley, that's a lick right there now. That's a big time hit. Big drive for them. See if they can flip the field a little bit, get some good field position. You got to get off the field here on third down and cool Mensah off.
And see if their coverage is more sound than it was in the first half. They bring a blitz. A little flip screen. Hughes, and there's the rally. Once again, the tackle made by Riley. And they get the third down stop. So the two teams will trade 3-and-outs.
That's a great play by Jordan Riley. Look at him right here on your screen. Watch him defeat the block of the tight end, Alex Bowman, who's trying to lock him up out there and stalk block him. He beats him quickly and then able to get the TFL. That is textbook defensive play on the part of Jordan Riley, who had the big hit previous. That's how you snuff them out on third down and give your offense another crack at it. Very good series for Kansas State.
Will Carroll gets it away from the 10-yard line. Good punt. Dylan Edwards, fair catch, flag down at his own 35-yard line. "44-yard punt, no return, but we'll have to check the penalty. As things stand right now, pretty good field position for Kansas State.
During the kick, holding number 9 on the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
So that will back the Wildcats up 10. And they trail by 10. Early third quarter here in New Orleans. There's the Taco Bell Live Ma student section. All season long, student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Ma student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. Abushu's and Louis Riddick, Chris Budden. Uptown New Orleans, home of the Green Wave. And Tulane has the 10-point lead, but Avery Johnson back to work. And motion goes Jace Brown. Play action. Johnson Wants the home run ball into double coverage. Incomplete. He overthrew Keegan Johnson. Flag down. Johnson thought he was held up, and it looks like the officials agree.
Yeah, they're going to get Jonathan Edwards. He reached out and grabbed
Pass
him.
interference. Number 8, defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Coaches were on the sideline just screaming it as it happened. He grabbed him right off the line of scrimmage. You're going to see it right there. He knew he was beat. See there, Terrell Allen getting a hit on Avery.
Jet sweep. Johnson close to midfield and close to a first down. He picks up 8. Grubbs made the tackle, but a 15-yard gain via penalty. And now 8 more. Kansas State's in business.
But these are both programs with a lot of competitive character. What do I mean by that? They don't scoreboard watch. They just play the game. And that's why Kansas State will never be out of this game. And if you have any slip-ups on the part of Tulane, this offense is explosive enough to make you pay.
Avery Johnson hands it off to his childhood buddy Dylan Edwards, and he bobs and weaves for a first down. At only 5'9", he can kind of get lost in there, and he just didn't. Picked up 10.
See who hit him, Bob? The freshman, Jack Chechu, who they were talking about as a guy who they were going to get into this game, number 29, the safety for Tulane, because they love the energy he played with. Promise you, Dylan Edwards will be looking for number 29. He goes through there again.
And those two alongside one another in the backfield again. Another handoff to Edwards. Edwards streaking down the sideline. All the way down inside the red zone. And boy, Chris, Avery Johnson told us he's so happy to have Dylan Edwards back by his side.
He's always had that smile and spark since they've known each other since the 2nd grade. The goal was always to go to Kansas State together. They've been playing football since childhood. You know, Edwards decided to go to Colorado, but then got homesick. And as soon as he put his name in the transfer portal, Johnson went into Chris Kleiman's office and said, call him right now, get him onto campus this weekend, and we're going to have a normal weekend with all of our friends so he understands what home really feels like.
Well, now he's out there helping Avery Johnson into the red zone. Kansas State trying to make this a one-score game again. That screen dropped by Garrett Oakley. It'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 15-yard line.
Every possession counts, every play counts. Avery Johnson talked about the fact that last week they didn't have very many plays in their opener against UT Martin. And now again, you start thinking about if you're Tulane, who's on the field for Kansas State? What could they possibly be trying to get done to us? Who are their big playmakers down here in the red area? We make sure we take care of the quarterback. Number 1, Jace Brown. Keep an eye on him too down here at the bottom of your screen. One-on-one coverage, it looks like.
Instead, it's DJ Giddens. Makes a man miss. Can't shake free of the tackle of Jonathan Edwards, but gets to the 7-yard line and gets about 8 yards. That makes it 3rd down and very manageable. 99 yards rushing now for DJ Giddens.
That's a really nice run, Robin. In fact, 212 pounds, just over 6 foot at 6'1". DJ Giddens doesn't have breakaway speed, but he has sweet feet in the hole. Can jump cut, get it out on the perimeter quickly. Just a good all-around back.
Keegan Johnson, the lone wide receiver. Other than that, extra tight ends. And Giddens behind Johnson. He spins out of a tackle, spins out of another. Now the green wave swallows him up at the 10-yard line. Tyler Grubbs was there first. Lost 3, and they'll have to settle for a field goal.
You can see the penetration at the point of attack. You see Tyler Grubbs just takes a gap and shoots it, and it just disrupts and blows up everything in the backfield. Now it's just up to DJ Giddens to try and survive, limit the loss. Make sure he doesn't take too much of a loss, and now they can maybe get out of here with 3.
Great recovery by Grubbs. Initially missed the tackle, but rallied eventually to make the stop.
Set it to like, I don't know, 8:06.
Okay. Time was stopped for a defensive injury. Please reset the game clock to 8 minutes, 6 seconds. 8:06 on the clock, please.
So they're going to add a few seconds to the clock before Chris Tennant
Thank you.
will attempt from short range. 28 yards to make it a touchdown lead for Tulane. So it's a red zone defensive stop for the Green Wave. 3 on the board for Kansas State. And we've got a one-possession game again. Let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings. Brought to you by Verbo. Well, a statement certainly so far from Texas, as we've got 2 top 10 teams meeting today, and it has been all horns at the Big House, 24-6. How about Bowling Green hanging in there with Penn State? Everyone else a little bit later on. Of course, this all leads towards the brand new 12-team college football playoff, where the 5 highest-ranked conference champions automatically in. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions get buys, and then things get interesting because 7 at-large teams will be determined by the committee. Seeds 5 through 8 will host first-round games on their campuses, and Lewis talked about it a lot in the first half. Both of these teams could desperately use this win for the purposes of building that resume, as both could end up in the college football playoff at the end of the year. As we check in with Matt Barron.
How about time now for our AT&T Multi-View, keeping fans connected. To talk about some playoff aspirational teams. Oklahoma State out of the Big 12, they're down to Arkansas over on ABC. Cincinnati having their way with Pitt on E2. And Syracuse right now up 24-14 over 2-0 Georgia Tech on ACC Network.
Some interesting other games going on. Bob Wischusen, Lewis Riddick, Chris Budden. But how important might this result be, Lewis, at the end of the regular season? Look at all the way back to week 2 for both of these teams.
Strength of schedule, right? Your resume. Who did you beat? When did you beat them? Where did you beat them? It's all going to play a part. This is a pivotal game for both of these two. And that's what makes this season as exciting as it is, man. And because the committee has made it a point of emphasis to tell us that your strength of schedule and the quality of the wins is very important.
10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Josh Remetich called for a hold. That's going to make it 1st and 20 in what is now a 1-score game. So that puts Tulane behind the chains. And that's going to give Kansas State a chance defensively. They have not had much on their side in terms of down and distance and field position. Tulane has been very good on early downs, making it 2nd and 3rd and manageable.
I think if you're John Summerall, the head coach of Tulane, you're sitting there, you're telling the offense, look, we got to get another chunk. We got to wake up here a little bit and make sure we snuff out any momentum that Kansas State's trying to steal from us.
Hughes. The arms of BJ Payne, but took him for a bit of a piggyback ride and picked up 10.
You see Mekhi Hughes here, the lower body power. When you get up on him in person, you just see how thick he is through his trunk and how muscular he is. He's just a hard between the tackles baller, man. That's just what he is. He's going to give you 4 quarters of effort. You better buckle up for it.
Led the American and rushing last year. Play action. Ends up 2nd down and 10. Another spin out move. Tripped up, pays the price. Good rush from Austin Romaine to bring him down initially for the sack, a loss of 4. Now it's 3rd down and 14.
You see another blitz. They're going to bring 5 on this one. You're going to see Romaine. You're going to see him just shoot the gap. And now just kind of push him out there on the edge. Can't get his eyes down the field, can't find anyone. Just got to tuck the ball and eat that one and give that W to the defense. But there's another example of defensive coordinator Joe Klanderman just continuing to put the pressure on the quarterback and see if he can force him into a mistake.
3-man rush. Mensa forced to check it down. And here come the Wildcats to rally. as Mekhi Hughes has nowhere to go. Jacob Parrish was there first. So now down by a touchdown. A little bit of life over on that Kansas State sideline. They're about to get the ball back again.
It's a nice job by Kansas State's defense, rushing with 3, dropping 8, playing everything top down. You saw Mensah surveying the field, seeing if there was anyone who was breaking free. He was forced to just check it down. That's a real good response on the part of Kansas State. A nice settle them down type of series.
Number 3, Dylan Edwards, D.
Give Avery Johnson another crack at it.
Will Carroll, the Australian punter, forces another fair catch for Dylan Edwards. 41-yard punt, 5:16 to go in the third quarter. The plot thickens here in New Orleans. We've been following the quarterbacks, Lewis, all day, and now the Wildcats need Avery Johnson in the second half to answer what Mensah put up in the first half.
They sure do. They need him to get hot. They need to produce some chunk plays. It's just too hard to methodically drive the football down the field in today's game. You have to get chunk plays, and Darian Mensah has been able to produce those along with his wide receivers for the Tulane offense. You see in there 220 yards passing. A lot of that came in the first half. Now it's up to Avery Johnson. Can he produce a couple of those down the field?
Best starting field position of the day for Kansas State. Floats one to Gibbons. Lowers his shoulder and trucks a defender for a first down. That's a message sent.
Yes, it is.
As he hit Lou Tillery hard.
It says, Lou, you're 172 pounds. I'm 212 pounds. How does this feel? You like that? Yeah, that's football right there, folks. That's what you do. You size up your opponent. You send them messages. The game still has a lot of physicality. There's an example, and a good one.
Straight quarterback run and nowhere to go for Johnson. And he gets chased to the sideline and loses at least 6. Gerard Henderson came through and forced him into a spin move to the edge.
Yeah, you see it 92 on the end there. He's able to just beat the blocker inside with a quick inside step. And now you've got a second and long type of situation just when it looked like Kansas State was starting to get something going here. That's the job of the defense. Create some negative plays. Put them back on their heels where now you can get after the passer.
Johnson escapes the pocket. Sprinting to the sideline. Slides. Only picks up 3. Now it'll be 3rd and 13.
Just good combination. Pass rush and coverage. Really, it's the coverage that allows the pass rush time to go to work and see if they can get some pressure right up the middle. That time, it was Eric Hicks Jr. Nice inside pass rush right down the middle. You just love when good defense happens like that. Front and coverage work together. 3rd and long. They're going to drop out of here and play some zone coverage, or they're going to send some pressure.
They drop out. A delayed blitz. Middle screen. Braden Lofton. Very close to a first down. A 1.5 yard shot. Will there be any hesitation from Chris Kleiman on the Kansas State sideline? Doesn't look like it. It looks like Kansas State will go for it. In plus territory, just over a yard short.
When you got a 212-pound running back, you run for almost 200 yards so far today. And you got a quarterback like Avery Johnson. You got to trust that somebody's going to be able to pick up a yard.
Johnson to throw for it. Lobs one down the sideline to Giddens on the wheel route. Touchdown! Why pick up a yard when you can get it all? And Avery Johnson and DJ Giddens just did. Lewis, Kansas State didn't have a play longer than 17 yards all day until they just scored from 45 yards out on 4th and 1.
It's always the assignment errors that produce the explosive plays. And here, it's going to be right here. I believe that's who it is. It's going to be the bandit defensive end, Matthew Fobbs-White. You're going to see him there. When that running back drops off into that pressure situation, when the running back turns it up the field, and he has got to turn and wheel and run with him. And you see him just staring at the quarterback, staring at Avery Johnson.
Number 17 for Kansas State is now wearing 85. Number 17 is wearing 85.
If you don't know what you're doing, especially in blitz situations, where whenever we used to walk this stuff through during my time, you have to know your assignments. It's not just about getting to the quarterback and creating mayhem. It's about making sure, one, the blitz is sound in terms of how it hits the gaps. But everybody in the back end has to be dead sure of their assignment. You turn loose one guy, and that's what happens. We've seen it happen to the Kansas State defense. And now, this time it looked like it was Matthew Fobbs-White who made the critical error. And it always, almost always, Bob, results in 6.
Clayton Johnson brings it out. Stunner steps to the sideline. And great field position now for Tulane. A return near the 44-yard line before he's wrestled out. So Shadi Clayton Johnson setting his team up. Kick off your Sunday with NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Troy Aikman will sit down with Dak Prescott. And then the 55th season of Monday Night Football kicks off. Jets 49ers at 8 Eastern on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. Peyton and Eli back on ESPN2 as well, as the NFL is now back. The first big Sunday of NFL football tomorrow, and then Monday Night Football is back on Monday night. And Tulane now with Kansas State back in a 20-20 tie. Great field position near midfield. Play action. Mensa. Incomplete. Dante Fleming, the intended receiver. And Keenan Garber, his second full year at corner, originally a wide receiver.
Holding.
Got the stop.
Number 20, offense. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
And add in the Arnold Barnes holding penalty. That's going to back Tulane up 10.
You see Desmond Purnell was coming on the blitz. Barnes trying to pick him up, as again, the blitzes are coming. They're continuing to send people after the young quarterback. You're going to see the running back. You're going to see him step up. He ducks his head in that left arm. He just tries to, he's just trying to save his quarterback from taking an unnecessary hit. He's saying, look, I guess I'll just take the penalty. Otherwise, my quarterback's going to take one right in the chest. Tulane's offense has not been in sync here in the second half. They were rolling in the first half, and now they have been kind of like unsettled.
Barnes lost the football. It looks like Tulane may have gotten it back. Austin Moore, a former walk-on that joined Chris Kleiman's team in his first year back in 2019. He had no offers out of high school. Now, he's one of the all-time tackle leaders. He ripped it free, but Anthony Miller at tight end made the recovery, and now a penalty. Things are starting to come apart for this Tulane offense.
Illegal snap infraction, number 64, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
And Lewis, to your point, the last 4 possessions for Tulane to end the first half all ended with points. They start the second half with back-to-back 3-and-outs. And now this drive where they're going backwards.
I mean, you're going to have these fits and starts during the course of a game, and they're almost inevitable. But now it's important for them to show some resolve and for the quarterback to kind of take the bull by the horn, so to speak. And even though he's young and inexperienced, exert some of that leadership that he has shown.
Enzo scans the field. Sidearms one into a tight window. Losing the football is Bauman. Did he make the catch? He was down. So it's either an incomplete pass.
The ruling in the field is an incomplete pass.
And there's the call.
Third down.
It was either a catch and down or incomplete pass, and they will rule that he did not complete the catch. So now it's 3rd and 21.
That's a heck of an attempt by Bowman. Well, that ball doesn't hit the ground. Doesn't complete the catch.
And now they're trying to get lined up. The play clock's down to 6. They were arguing that call. The play clock at 2, down to 1. They do get the snap off. And Mensah, 3rd down and a mile. He's going to heave one. Drops it in! Mario Williams on 3rd and 21. Split the safeties. He picks up 47.
They're on the brink of disaster. Mensah's thinking, he's looking over the sideline saying, you want to call timeout? What should we do here? And then he just drifts to his left and hits one of his big playmakers, Mario Williams, streaking down the middle of the field. I mean, that play looked like it was doomed. It looked like he wanted to call timeout. Just makes a play. The plays that aren't coached. You don't coach that. That's just poise by the young redshirt freshman.
Blitz on 1st down. Mensah tripped up, and he goes down. Brendan Mott with the sack. And is that Mensah that's down?
Timeout injury.
Oh, the redshirt freshman quarterback has to be helped up, and he is not putting much weight on his left leg. And now he will go back down once again. And Ty Thompson's going to get up off the bench and start warming up. Hopefully this is nothing more than a cramp. It looks like they're stretching out that right leg, Lewis, the way you would if this is a cramp. And they're immediately giving him a Gatorade bottle, maybe to get him hydrated as well. You'd have to think a cramp be the best case scenario here.
I really hope that that's exactly what it is. He's just played fantastic today. Changed everyone's outlook for this offense, for this program with the performance he's put on so far. You see him here trying to escape up. You see Brendan Mott has a hold of his leg, the 38.
He's walking off on his own right now, and it seems like he's okay. Obviously, Ty Thompson has to come in for at least a play now, maybe more. Again, this is a young man that 3 weeks ago was running the scout team, running it so well that he basically forced John Sumrall to say, let's see him with the ones and see how they react. Because all the scout team was doing was making plays and going up the field up and down the field during practice, scoring touchdowns. As that takes us to the end of the 3rd quarter. And this will give Darian Mensah an opportunity to get hydrated on the sideline. We head to the 4th quarter, tied at 20 here in New Orleans.
Coach, we saw Mensah there cramping up. What do you need out of your offense in this final quarter?
Just execute. Do your job. Don't do anything fancy. Block who you're supposed to block. Don't commit penalties. I mean, just got to play clean football. We did in the first half. The 3rd quarter right there wasn't us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, pretty simple, as John Sumrall has his team with Ty Thompson to start the 4th quarter. In spite of the fact that Darian Mensah seemed to be okay, cramping up to end the 3rd. We'll see how long Thompson goes. Straight quarterback run, right up the middle. Tripped up in the red zone. Mensah's got the helmet. He's putting it back on. It'll be 3rd down as Jacob Parrish made the stop. He's buckling the chin strap back up. And it looks like Mensah's coming right back in the game. 2nd play of the 4th quarter, and Lewis a big 3rd down.
Absolutely. Look, he was, to shine some light on Ty Thompson, look, he was really a shoestring tackle away from scoring right there. But now, 3rd down, you know they're going to put the ball up here in the air. Now again, you start thinking about the matchup, start thinking about the people that are on the field.
Third and 3 from the
And
13.
you see they have big number 11, who goes 6'5", 209 pounds. Got a serious size advantage up here to the top of your screen.
Ensa looks that way. He's going to look for that back right pass. Touchdown! Alex Bauman, the tight end. Tulane retakes the lead.
You see Alex Bowman, you see they really just run. It's kind of a form of a pick route. Defenders call it a pick route. Offensive players call it, it's just a little rub route. Just run a little bit of traffic right there so Bowman can go ahead as the number 3 in that 3x1. Just loop on outside, and it's a perfect throw. An absolute dime by Darian Mensah.
Second touchdown of the day for Bauman.
It's just this, and then just come right off of it, and he's just going to hit you over there right inside that pylon. That's all you're trying to do, just create some traffic, a diversion for people to have to kind of work their way through, especially if you're in man-to-man coverage, and then you just got to put it on him. Just lay it right on him.
And you mentioned the height advantage. Sidney Mbanasor was one of those wide receivers out there, number 11 at 6'5". Well, Bauman's the same. Right, let's get a couple of those 6'5" targets out there in the red zone. That's got to be tough to defend.
Yeah, and Bauman had a TD catch last week. Real good hands. Someone who they try and get the ball to down in the red area, just like they did last week against Southeastern Louisiana. Again, see, those are the kind of things you have to scout out as a defender. Who they're going to try and get the ball to. You watched the tape last week. They put eyes on the field down there in the red area. You can best believe they're going to throw a jump ball type of throw.
Today on ABC and ESPN Plus at 3:30 Eastern, South Carolina will meet Kentucky in an SEC matchup. And then at 7:30, SEC meets ACC as number 14 Tennessee will take on number 24 NC State. Then the AAC on ESPN Plus, your exclusive home for more than 1,000 games and events. It's also the destination for all American championships, as well as the All Access Series. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/AAC or download the ESPN app. All right, we just saw Kansas State with a drive and a response from Avery Johnson. Can he do it again? Play action, one-on-one. Perfectly delivered to Keegan Johnson. These two young quarterbacks now, it's like a heavyweight fight. They're trading blows.
Nice release on the outside by Keegan Johnson, one-on-one coverage. Just going to have to make a play down the field. He goes over top of Rashawn Pleasant, one of the heroes from last week with the pick 6.
He's got another first down. This time to Will Swanson.
And now you see Avery Johnson just starting to get comfortable, his confidence starting to grow. You see the ball go through the hoop, so to speak, to use a basketball analogy. All of a sudden, it all just starts to happen a little bit easier for you.
Avery Johnson, 6 of 7 in the second half, including his last 5 in a row, are complete. On the ground to Giddens. The 26-yard line. Avery Johnson, the most decorated recruit at quarterback for Kansas State since Josh Freeman.
You mix that in when you got a 212-pound running back in DJ Giddens that can just hammer you. You can bring Dylan Edwards in. You put the defense on their heels a little bit. You start opening up the passing game. And if you can hit a few, now your offense becomes much more multiple, as you saw by his stat line in the second half.
Giddens now over 100 yards rushing for the 6th consecutive game. And he is second only in Kansas State history, as things stand right now, to Darren Sproles in terms of career yards per carry. The average is about 5.7 yards per attempt. So he's the workhorse. 5.7 yards per carry.
192 yards on the day for them rushing as a team. I said they had to hold them to under 120. They've flown right through that mark. And that's why right now they're knocking on the door again.
3rd down and 2. And he's got the first down and then some. Right back into the red zone for Kansas State. Rayshawn Pleasant lost his bucket, so he has to head to the sideline.
Notice who's coming into the game now. Trey Spivey, 6'4", 217 pounds, number 12. It's about matchups down here. You bring a guy in with that kind of size for a reason. He's not just out there to look pretty. You see Avery Johnson looking over there to his left.
Instead, it's Dylan Edwards. He finds a crease. Freeway to the end zone. And Kansas State answers right back. And we're a point after away again from a tie.
You just see the misdirection in terms of the ball handling. You got the tight end coming across the formation, which kind of holds the second-level defenders, makes them freeze just a bit. And you don't have any time to be indecisive down there when you got a guy like Dylan Edwards who's just slashing off tackle, hitting the seam, putting it in the end zone. What a great drive on the part of Kansas State. A great answer.
And the game we expected, and it has been a terrific one at that. How about the response from Kansas State? Dylan Edwards caps a 6-play touchdown drive. Bob Wischusen and Louis Riddick, Chris Budden back in New Orleans. Well, it's a coach's duel, Louis, and we've got two that are very well prepared. They've been here before. And obviously John Sumrall, the brand new coach at Tulane. So when he was at Troy, did very well in one-score games. Chris Kleiman, no stranger to one-score games as well.
Schemes, strategies, tactics. Now it's that time of year, that time of the game. Here in the 4th quarter, every possession becomes crucial. Every play call becomes crucial. Every decision that you make to settle your teams down becomes crucial.
Out to the 25-yard line goes Clayton Johnson. Let's go back and check in with Matt.
All right, Bob, just getting you caught up with some things around the country. A little bit of sigh of relief for Penn State. Nicholas Singleton puts this thing away. They're going to hang on to beat Bowling Green 34-27 at home, a lot closer than perhaps anyone thought. And out of nowhere, Oklahoma State has come back to tie it. Bowman to Brennan Presley, 2-point conversion attempt, good. Tied at 21 in the 4th quarter.
Well, we've got the same, a tie here in the 4th quarter. Darian Mensah back to work. Over the middle. Finds Mario Williams out to midfield.
This play-action passing game has been unbelievable. He throws these deep in-cuts as well as anyone. You see that deep 18-yard crosser? I mean, Hall of Fame quarterbacks like Kurt Warner made a living off of those plays. Could throw them with their eyes closed. And this young man in his 2nd start has been delivering dimes all day.
Hughes. 4 yards. Broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage to pick those up.
Again, just taking their time. Offensive coordinator Joe Craddock on the headset, giving Darian Mensah some coaching tips until they cut off the coach-to-player communication at 15 seconds on the play clock, which is right now.
Straight ahead again. With success again. Hughes dragging tacklers inside the red zone. Another first down for Tulane. 32 more yards for Mekhi Hughes.
And this great blocking up front by the offensive line. just getting some push. Shadre Hurst, Derek Graham.
Trick play. Mario Williams thought about throwing it. It was a backwards pass. He's got nowhere to go, and now he'll lose a couple. Austin Moore, Cody Stufflebean were all over Mario Williams.
It's always interesting for me, Bob, in those situations. When your offense is humming, just running your regular offense, when coaches try to reach into their bag a little bit and get tricky, I'm just kind of like, why? You don't really need to. But I understand why they do it, because you could catch the defender slipping and not playing with good fundamentals. Joe Craddock has been on it, the offensive coordinator of Tulane, all day.
Shadi Clayton Johnson back in now. And now it'll be a 5-yard penalty as Reggie Brown, the tight end, started early.
False start. Number 9, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So how does this change things now, Lewis? Get the negative on first down with a shutdown trick play. Now you go backwards 5. So got all that forward momentum. Now it's second down and 17. You're back outside the red zone.
Yeah, you're just trying to stay calm and poised here and try and pick up some of that you just lost on the penalty and get into a third down and manageable situation. With this offense, who knows? They could get all back in one. No reason to panic.
Blitz coming. Backpedaling. Losing the football is Mensa, and it's scooped up. Jack Fabris to the house. Touchdown. It looked like Austin Romaine knocked it free. It's a scoop and score for Kansas State, and that's what they do best.
You're going to see Austin Romaine on the blitz. And here's the thing. He doesn't just try and secure the sack. Watch him swat at the football. That's a critical error on the part of Darian Mensah. Just an unbelievable play on the part of Romaine to have the awareness of being able to create the turnover, scoop and score, pick it up and put it in the end zone for 6. Such a big-time play.
Last week, Lewis, a blocked punt by Ty Bowman. Colby McAllister recovered it for a touchdown. That was non-offensive touchdown number 132 all-time since 1999 for Kansas State. Well, since 1999, that is now non-offensive touchdown number 134 for Kansas State. Number 1 in college football. They find ways to score with their offense on the bench. They just did it again. The Kansas State defense strikes, taking one away from Darian Mensah. Yeah. And now they've got the lead.
And you're going to see it here. They're going to send 5, and this is the guy right here who they're sending through the hole, and that is Austin Romaine. You're going to see they're going to try and hug up in man-to-man coverage. Send 5. Let Romaine just pick his way through traffic. And then you see him there with the strip, not just going for the sack. And then Jack Fabris just trailing the play. When you see the ball on the ground, just scoop and score, get that ball in the end zone. Man, that is a huge play, a huge momentum shift on the part of Kansas State. And now here again, back and forth. Now what's the answer? What kind of answer does Tulane have? What kind of answer does Darian Mensah have?
Nowhere to run this time for Clayton Johnson as we go down to Chris.
Bob, we've heard how Mensah's the California cool. How would he respond after that mistake? He was quiet on the sidelines, didn't show a lot of frustration. And then John Sumrall comes up, whispers something into his ear that makes him laugh, makes him smile, trying to get him to relax, and just said it's all good.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down before losing possession. First down, Tulane.
Very late, the Kansas State players reacted with the ball coming out, but the officials ruled that Clayton Johnson was down, and that seemed to be the immediate ruling.
His elbows, forearm is down, left forearm is down.
The ruling in the field that the runner was down before fumbling is under further review.
Now, this should be quickly confirmed. It didn't even really look that close. So the ball should stay with Tulane. And back to the fumble by Mensah for a second, Lewis. You know, we've talked about his cool, his composure, the poise. Is that, though, one situation where super early on in the career of a redshirt freshman, you're just trying to do a little too much there?
Absolutely. That's the very definition of it. You saw him continuing to give ground. And as you're watching the play unfold, you see he has the ball kind of like down by his thigh, with only one hand on it. I mean, that's just like a red cape to a bull when you see the defenders for Kansas State and Austin Romaine in particular going, I'm not just going for the sack, I'm going to get that ball. I see you waving it around, not respecting it. You've got the fortunes of everybody on the sideline with you right there in your one hand, and I'm going to snatch it from you. That's just great, just back and forth. That's football. He'll learn. Now the cool thing is he gets another shot. And Kansas State gets another shot to see if they can again, they have not caught off the blitzes at all. They've been burned today, and they continue to go at him and see if they can force the youngster into making mistakes. And there they got him to make one.
Again, one more look. As again, you should see Clayton Johnson's
forearm
down there. Elbow hits on the left side before the ball makes any appearance from the right side. And they are making sure, that's for certain. It has to be indisputable evidence to overturn the call on the field. Not only, since he was ruled down on the field, do you have to change the ruling, but you also have to determine that there was clear recovery by Kansas State. And here is the determination.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
So it does, as we expected, stay with Tulane. So now we'll see if Darian Mensah, as we said, can respond from what was a young quarterback's mistake, getting a little probably too careless with the football and also trying to do a little too much. But plenty of time on the clock, maybe time for 2 more possessions for Tulane before this game ends. Down by 7 with just over 8 minutes to go.
And if you're defensive coordinator for Kansas State, Joe Klanderman, you're saying, look, I'm going to continue to send my guys. I'm going to bring 5 or more every chance I get. Speed up your process.
Play action. Another blitz coming. Extends the play again and now goes down. A loss of a couple. Sack number 5 for the Kansas State defense. Austin Moore was there.
Much better job by the Kansas State secondary of playing tight man coverage, safety staying deep in the middle of the field, front and coverage again. You've heard me talk about it a couple different times. It all goes together. The coverage is tight in the back end, give your front more time to work. The coverage is a little loose in the back end, your front better get there. That time they were both in sync.
Receiver screen with Keith Brown. Turn back at the 20-yard line. Modest gain. It's going to be 3rd down and long. And Desmond Purnell was there to make the stop. Marquise Siegel came up to help on the tackle as well. 3rd down and 9.
This is a big 3rd down. Considering the way Kansas State's been running the football, to consider the way that DJ Giddens has just been hammering them in the second half, you need to convert this.
Long throw to the sideline. It is a conversion to Dante Fleming. Big throw from Mensah. They pick up 17.
They run a little boundary corner fire, bringing the corner off the boundary. You see number 5 coming off the bottom of your screen, and he just runs the speed out to Dante Fleming right on time.
Both teams have all 3 timeouts. Mensa over the middle. Incomplete for Williams. Oh, he went full layout, but couldn't haul it in with the left hand.
Perfect play call on the part of Tulane against that cover 2 look, that 2 safeties high. They clear out the zone and then just allow Mario Williams to come right in behind the clear out, and they had it dialed up perfectly. He just missed it. Perfect play call, poor execution.
One of the few times today, maybe the only time today, that I think I've heard you say that he missed one over the middle. No more than a yard. Payne and Moore combine on the tackle. Another 3rd down and long now for Tulane with under 6 minutes to go.
Bob, they continue to just send heat time and time and time again, not letting up at all. You can just hear Chris Lyman, the head coach over there, saying, look, do not let up. Do not let up. And Joe Craddock is having to get in the ear of Darian Mensa to kind of help him through this, because the pressure is relentless.
4-man rush this time. Mensa hit as he throws, incomplete. He was pressured by Osunsami. Bauman, the intended receiver. And with 5:18 on the clock, Tulane's going to have to give the ball up and count on their defense.
I think the crowd here was hoping for maybe a little bit of a pass interference penalty. They thought there at the end. You see Marquise Siegel all over Alex Bauman. Looks like he had his hand wrapped around his waist.
So Will Carroll will punt. The Australian tries to change field position. It's a good kick. Egan Johnson lets it bounce, and it reaches the end zone. So Kansas State from their own 20-yard line with 5:10 to go. We'll have it when we come back. Lewis, as good as these young quarterbacks have been, it was a mistake by one of them to turn this game around.
Yeah, you just got to know when to fold them, man. And you got to know that you have to protect the ball. When you're turning your back to the defense like that, and you only have one hand on it, and you have it down low, that's like blood to a shark. And Austin Romaine makes him pay. And Jack Fravers said, hey, you know what? I'll pick up that trash on the floor, and I'll go ahead and return it and get some money for it. That right there is a game changer, and now it's up to the defense to see if they can bail them out here.
Well, they get a stop on first down. A tackle for loss on DJ Giddens. Patrick Jenkins, Tyler Grubbs combine on the stop. That'll take us inside of 5 minutes to go. This second half Kansas State pass rush, though, they have 5 sacks, 4 in the second half. That has had a major impact on this game.
No question about it. No question. They said that they were going to bring the heat. They were going to put the test to the second game starter, and they have not disappointed. They have been relentless.
Another handoff to Giddens. Another stop for Tulane. Tulane has no sacks of Avery Johnson, but their defensive front with back-to-back tackles here. Grubbs does it again. They have forced 3rd down and long, and they would sorely love a 3-and-out to give their offense another shot with the football with plenty of time on the clock.
This is it right here. Here it is. You have 3rd and long, 4 minutes and counting left on the clock. You have all your timeouts left to give your offense another shot at it. If you're Kansas State, can you find a way to convert deep in your own territory?
Avery Johnson sets up the screen. Tulane was ready for it. Giddens nowhere to go as Patrick Jenkins, part of the group that rallied to the football. So Tulane will have plenty of time with 3.5 minutes to go and all 3 timeouts.
This is the kind of thing as a quarterback. These kind of things you do in your backyard, right? We're down a score, 3 minutes left, 3 timeouts. I'm on national TV. What do I do?
Line drive kick. Fleming lets it bounce. Great field position for Tulane at their own 40-yard line after only a 38-yard punt. So as great as Mensa was in the first half, he hasn't been quite as good in the second half. And that one turnover right now is the difference.
See, this is the thing. When we sat and talked with him, you just kind of saw, like, he's so even-keeled. He's so confident in himself. We'll see if that's just talk or whether or not that's something that he can draw on in the most pressure-packed of moments, like right now. I mean, this is it. This is where all that stuff that we saw and we witnessed when he sat in front of us has to be shown on the field, because I promise you this, Joe Klanderman, the defensive coordinator for Kansas State, says, hey, here I come. Here come my guys.
Makai Hughes for a yard. Another tackle for Austin Romaine. 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And the Kansas State defense, 4 sacks in the second half, 5 for the day, and they also took one to the house.
Tulane has taken advantage of Kansas State mistakes in the back end over and over again. They've got nothing but big playmakers on the outside. Can they shake one of them loose again?
And they keep on blitzing. Flipping one off to Hughes. Perfectly executed by Mensah. And that freed up Makai Hughes for a chunk play. Jordan Riley bumped him out, but not before he picked up 26 yards.
Again, we're talking about mistakes. No coverage is designed to let a back leak out in the flat like that, so where then he can run for an explosive. Somebody turned him loose. There was, again, another miscommunication. It wasn't a big play down the field in terms of air yards, but that's an assignment error. That's someone not doing their job, and that has plagued Kansas State at different points in this game.
And that takes us down to the 2-minute timeout. What a finish we have for you here in New Orleans with 2 minutes to go. Stay with us.
Time now for the final 2 minutes, presented by Allstate.
It seemed like the type of game that would come down to the final 2 minutes. We have reached the 2-minute timeout, and a touchdown separates Kansas State and Tulane. Tulane has the football and a first down inside the 35-yard line of Kansas State. It is indeed the final 2 minutes, presented by Allstate. The redshirt freshman Darian Mensah, his second career start, and he has been magnificent at times today. Does he have one more answer in him? Another blitz over the middle, incomplete. Diving was Mario Williams, and he got the flag. DJ Payne in coverage. A couple of flags thrown, looks like pass interference.
Pass interference, number 21 defense. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Looks like they called it on Siegel.
I think they got it on the wrong guy.
Number 19.
Yeah, they got it right. It is on Payne.
Yeah, you see him. He just settles his feet. That's called squatting on the route. That's called not staying in your pedal because you're guessing. You're thinking he's going to run something short or intermediate instead of just playing it true. And then when you guess wrong and you feel that receiver blowing by you, that's your instinctive reaction.
Go get him, Newell. Go get him, Newell.
Again, Kansas State brings the blitz. Mensah has a one-on-one. Incomplete. Intended for Williams. It'll be second down and 10.
You could see Darian Mensah. You could literally see in his mind, he's trying to figure, where do I put this ball? And you see there, he kind of pointed to himself as Mario Williams coming back to the huddle. Did he lead him too far outside? Just didn't keep it in the field of play and give him a chance, because he was starting to separate late in the down. Better throw, maybe that was a touchdown.
Mensah scans the field. Into the end zone, incomplete on a dive for Keith Brown. Flag at the line of scrimmage.
Holding, 69 offense, 10-yard penalty, replay second down.
And Chris Kleiman said, yes, take the penalty rather than setting up 3rd down and 10.
You're going to see it right here. He just starts to lose the pass rush to his inside, and he's just going to grab. Right here, he's getting bull rushed. He starts to lose it. He loses his base, loses his balance, starts to fall to the ground. So again, it's just an instinctive reaction.
So he takes the yards instead of the down to make it 2nd and 20. They'll run it. Hughes got back the lost yardage, basically. Got about 9, close to 10. So it will be 3rd down with 90 seconds to go.
Oh, man, if you could just be a fly on the wall or be on those headsets right now on both of these sidelines trying to figure out who are they going to? What's the matchup? Who do we want to go after? Who do we try to take away from the defensive perspective? Pass rush, please get there. Mensah, please make a good decision.
Mensah out of the pocket. He's going to tuck it under. Gets brought down at the 17-yard line. That'll set up 4th down. Jacob Parrish made the stop. Tulane's going to have to go for it. Under a minute to go. Now again, both teams have their timeouts. And it looks like neither at this point calling one. Fourth down and 6. The game rests on this down for Tulane. Here comes the Kansas State blitz. Mensah on his horse, flag down. He spins inside the 5, flags everywhere. With 27 seconds to go. Tulane originally thought this penalty was against Kansas State.
Holding, number 10, defense. At the distance to the goal line, automatic first down.
Well, that'll put the ball inside the 2-yard line.
Caught on Jacob Parrish right here. Again, when you squat on routes in man coverage like this, and you don't give ground and you don't try and stay in phase, and you're trying to guess on the routes and trying to play the down and distance, if you're wrong, that's what has to happen, and that's how you're going to get called.
1st and goal at the 1. Mensah, he'll throw for it. End zone at the front left pylon. Caught, touchdown! Keith Brown snuck inside the pylon. Tulane a point after away from a tie. Taken away. They call offensive pass interference on Dante Fleming. And the Tulane sideline is stunned.
Yeah, that's a big call right there where it looks like Dante Fleming's just trying to get a release, and he's getting jammed up pretty good at the line of scrimmage. I've seen much more egregious offensive pass interference on a part of, in pick route situations than that.
That is a massive call.
And you can see it right here, number 1.
Timeout, Tulane, their first of the half.
I mean, he's allowed to try and get off the line of scrimmage.
And he is immediately, in terms of Jacob Parrish,
yeah, I mean, look, you're
immediately checked at the line of scrimmage with 2 hands.
Exactly. As a defender, what you're going to try and do is you're going to try and jam him up and kind of hold him because you don't want him to release. And as a receiver, you got to keep fighting to try and get off the ball and create space.
Wow. Where is Dante Fleming supposed to go, and what is he supposed to do other than what he did?
That's a big call. That's a big call in that kind of situation. And you can see that right now, John Summerall is beside himself.
So take the touchdown off the board because of a questionable pass interference call, offensive pass interference called against Dante Fleming. And that takes the ball all the way back out to the 16-yard line. The clock is also now a factor with only 17 seconds to go. Tulane has now spent a timeout to talk things over. It's still 1st and goal, so they still have the entire playbook at their disposal.
2 timeouts.
But they have to have a touchdown.
Well, that's a big call right there. That's going to be talked about for a while. That's going to be looked at. Like, what is the receiver supposed to do in that situation? I'm a former defensive back. I mean, what's the receiver supposed to do if you jam him up and lock him up like that? He still has a right to get off the line of scrimmage and try and get into his route.
And again, this Kansas State defense last season was 2nd best in the country in opponents' red zone touchdown percentage. So it is not easy to get in the end zone against this group. Mensah lobs one. Incomplete. Now the crowd hoping for a flag the other way. Jacob Parrish in coverage on Alex Bauman. 12 seconds to go.
He's going to do some interesting calls when they go back and look at these. Look, you see him right here. He's trying to read the eyes and hands now. What saves him is, as you see there, since he's got the receiver under control, and he's in the position that he's in, you can see him looking for the football. That's what saves him. The fact that he looks back at the football because of the fact that he was on top of the receiver, meaning he had leverage on top of the route, that's why they didn't call it.
And now Chris Kleiman calls timeout.
It will be 30 seconds.
So now Kansas State wants to talk things over defensively. All right, take me inside as well, that Kansas State defensive huddle, because some of these plays we've already seen. You can sense Tulane's trying to go back to the well. They just tried to score in exactly the same way they already did earlier in this game. So are your antennas up?
Absolutely.
If you're on the Kansas State sideline and that warrants the timeout?
Absolutely. Every man-beating route that they have in their playbook, they're trying to call right now, which means this: have great communication on the part of the defensive backs. Don't line up on the same levels. Give each other some space, but then close the distance quickly. Understand they're going to try and create some natural rub situations and then just execute as far as playing the ball at the catch point.
2nd down. Blitz off the edge. Mensah into the end zone, and it's intercepted. He tried to find the crosser in Yule Keith Brown, and it's picked off by V.J. Payne.
Ruling in the field is an interception by the defense in the end zone for a touchback.
A heartbreaking way for this game to end for Tulane, and celebration on the Kansas State sideline as it looks like the Cats will survive.
Here he is, the safety, V.J. Payne. You're going to see he's just going to try and hit this over route, and really, it just to me looks like he panics. He wants to get rid of the ball.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 10 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal line. 1st down, Kansas State. This is number 10's first foul for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Really, it's just a critical error on the part of Darian Mensah. The safety's just sitting right there. The receiver's getting trailed by the DB across the field. You can see it there, safety Marquis Siegel. And they basically, in essence, have him bracketed down the field. That's the one guy who really was double covered because of the position of the safety, and he threw it right into that double coverage. All V.J. Payne has to do is make the interception, which he did, and seal the game.
And all Avery Johnson has to do, you would think, is take a knee. Tulane has a couple of timeouts left, but there's only 5 seconds on the clock.
Unbelievable game.
And as many great plays as there were in this game, it will end with some controversy as Tulane had an apparent game-tying touchdown that was taken away with an offensive pass interference call on Dante Fleming. And that call gave new life to Kansas State, and their defense backed up Tulane. They capitalized, they get the takeaway, and they survive with a terrific road win here in New Orleans as we go down to Chris.
Coach, congratulations. An interesting last couple minutes. How would you describe how your team finished that out?
Well, just great resolve. You know, we went into the locker room tails between our leg a little bit and hadn't played well on either side. And we were pretty calm knowing that if we could flip the momentum, we'd have a great chance to win the game. We were able to flip it, tie it at 20, and then guys made plays at the end.
Certainly on defense as well. What adjustments after that speech at halftime changed in the second half?
Well, trying not to give up the vertical plays. We gave up the one on 3rd and forever, and they capitalized on it. That's a really good team. Well coached. We're happy to get a win on the road.
Guys were in Avery's face all day. What impressed you about his poise this afternoon?
You hit it. He had great poise and made some throws, and we ran the ball better in the second half.
Moving forward for K-State, you get this one on the road. Where does this team need to improve to continue this?
Well, we play next Friday, so it's going to be in a hurry, Chris, with the practice tomorrow. So we got a lot of work to do, but we have got guys that our culture won this game. Bottom line, our culture won it.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Bob.
That's a big win for Kansas State to come down to Tulane, and with a big second half comeback down by 10 at the break to win it 34-27. The Wildcats survive over the green wave. For Lewis Riddick and Chris Budd, and I'm Bob Wischusen. Thanks so much for watching so long from New Orleans. Back to the studio now alongside Joey Galloway and Dan Mullen. Here's Matt Barry.